3 wins in 3 and victory here last year, the chasing pack will need to try every trick in the book if they want to catch the champ. The trouble is, he already knows them. Could it be a record Quattro wins in Belgium? Welcome to the FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. The championship has moved to Belgium for round 4 of the season. Situated south of the capital Brussels, the circuit Jules Tacchini dates way back to the 1920s when high-speed motorcycle races took place on the old street circuit. The modern track offers a dramatic first corner and a last corner joker lap. But before we see the RX Elite take on the challenge, let's have a look back at round 3, Hockenheim. There was big drama all the way in Germany, and come the final, the championship's top 2 lined up on the front row after both winning their semi-finals. It was Eckstrom who found the most grip on the damp track and led after the first corner. By the time the pack made it to the Sachs curve, it was 3 abreast as Loeb, Solberg and Heikkinen battled hard for position. Having already jokered, Hansen made a great move on Solberg to take 3rd and hold it to the line. Meanwhile, out front, Kristoffersson was doing his best to chase down Eckstrom, but a pinpoint accurate driving masterclass, including a fastest lap of the day, saw the champ take his 3rd victory of the year and draw equal on 9 all-time wins with Solberg.
The only thing that really matters to me is standing on that podium. I mean, I get goosebumps when I think of it because that's what I work for, and that makes me proud. And how you get there is for sure a very different road every year. And records along the road, I've never been a fan of. So for me, it's nice winning races, but I'm more addicted to having the most points at the end of the year. And if that means from now on, finishing P2 the rest of the year, and that will make me champion, I'm happy with this. But standing on top of the podium is for sure a great feeling, but it doesn't beat being the world champion.
After round 3, this is how they line up in the championship. Having won every semi and final he's entered this year, Eckstrom is building a healthy lead. However, a 2nd place last time for Kristoffersson and a 4th for Solberg sees them staying in touch in 2nd and 3rd respectively. With both drivers performing well again, PSRX Volkswagen Sweden stay top of the team standings. But the Peugeots were looking very quick in Hockenheim, and Topi Heikkinen has won twice here, meaning a hat-trick of wins for the EKS drivers in Belgium, with Eckstrom's victory here last year. After 3 rounds in 2017, the paddock is full of mixed emotions. It may be all smiles over in the Eckstrom camp, but 2017 is proving very tough for Andreas Bakkerud. Failing to qualify for the semis after receiving a time penalty for this move on Solberg last round has seen him tumble down the championship table. This, combined with a big crash in Barcelona and bad luck in Portugal, sees the Norwegian facing a monumental task if he wants to fulfill his championship ambitions this campaign.
It's been a bad year so far. Like, we started well in Barcelona with a 3rd place and a podium, good points in the bag. Got to Portugal, radio frequencies messed our Q1 with not going to Joker, puncturing Q2, won Q4, got to the semi, had an incident with Baumanis, and my race was done. Hockenheim, I just didn't have any pace at all. I didn't have the speed, had an incident with Perry in Q2. It haven't been the start I was wishing for, but I think I've been having my share of good luck over the years, and I think this year it's been, you know, you hit a bad wave and you try to find a bigger wave to jump onto, and that's what I'm waiting for, to hit that wave and continue sailing on it.
In stark contrast to Bakkerud's descent down the table, Sebastian Loeb is travelling in the other direction, and fast. The Frenchman was top qualifier for the first time in Hockenheim, and Team Peugeot Hansen looked to have made big performance gains in testing, something Loeb will want to convert into on-track success in Belgium.
I feel okay. I think we improved a lot the car during the winter. Yeah, we are not bad. The general level of the championship is really high now, and I think it's really difficult to be on the top all the time. But okay, I think we improved, and that's the main goal.
Well, let's have a look at the stats of a legend. Of course, Sebastian Loeb, 9-time World Rally Champion, but now firmly committed to a career in the World Rallycross Championship. 8 times he's made it through to the final. 4 podiums. And of course, that one win last year in Latvia, impressive performance it was as well. 93% of the time he makes it to the semi-finals. Missed that one in Barcelona. 53% of the time he's qualified for the final. 27% reaching the podium. Now, of course, that one win gives him a 7% event win rate. He'll be looking to increase that particular stat, but how do he and the team go about achieving that goal?
In Rallycross, I think a lot of little details. You need everything perfect, and we need to work on. We need to work on the start strategy also, because that's the key point, and it's not our best point at the moment. So we are trying hard, and hopefully we can manage to put everything together.
As the teams make final preparations, let's take a look at the track. Mettet in Belgium, 1,149 metres long, 61% asphalt and 39% dirt. We're going to ride on board with Timmer's Jarno, and it is a unique opposite direction start here. So Timmer coming from the wide side of the grid down towards the very tight and tricky turn 1, which goes immediately over a crest, which you can get air off over the start. They've tarmacked the landing there to make it a little bit easier on the cars. Get the curves on the right and the left and the right, and again on the left here. Watch him pull on the handbrake. That rotates the car, and then it's on the gas, get the steering straight. 600 horsepower, pulling gears down the back straight, and brake just as late as you dare. Then thread the needle here, look, between the tar bales again. Mind those curves on the right, which send struts up through the bonnet, close to the barriers on the left and on the right. This is where this circuit is just so technical. The standard lap splits left, we go right, and you need to get the car on the handbrake and straight early again. Try and get the 4 wheels in a straight line. Timmer runs a little bit wide on the exit, on the gas again and pulling gears to merge with the standard lap from your left over the finish line and heading down towards the jump at much higher speed. Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2, the best of the action from qualifying 3, crunch time in Q4, only the top 12 qualify, only the top 3 go through in the live World RX semi-finals. We've got the first Rx2 Final of the year, and then the biggest race of the weekend, the World RX Final live. Matias Eckstrom started his quest to make World RX history by winning his Q1 race in Belgium, with double Mettet winning teammate Topi Heikkinen following close behind. The world champion went top of the timesheets, but not for long. Johan Kristoffersen got the whole shot in his race, letting the squabble for positions happen behind him. The pace of the VW Polo GTI supercar was swiftly demonstrated, with a time 2.5 seconds faster than the world champion. Timmy Hansen beat his teammate Sebastian Loeb to turn 1, and the two of them set about a formation driving display at the head of the field. Despite using literally every inch of the track, the Peugeots couldn't knock the VW off the top spot. And so it fell to Kristoffersen's teammate to challenge for the honours in Q1. Petter Solberg pushed hard the whole race, and the split times were neck and neck. But come the checkered flag, the Norwegian edged it by just 1/10 of a second.
It's a difficult track. It's easy to do mistakes. It's quite rough in places also. And well, for me and Johan, we just have to keep it clean. We are very similar times, and it's great. We just need this consistency now through the race and try to finish it.
On to Q2, and some complicated starts as turn 1 bared its teeth again. First up was a domino effect for Janis Baumanis. He made a forceful pass up the inside of Guy Wilkes, but the net result, once all the contact was done, saw the Latvian facing the wrong way and the rest of the pack heading into the distance. American Ford driver Ken Block made the best of the escape and took the win with an impressive time that would be good enough for 4th in Q2. Kevin Hansen played a clever game, backing out off the start early in his race and sliding up the inside to P2, while Topi Heikkinen opted for the braver and more sideways round the outside approach. But Loeb got the whole shot and proved yet again that when he has a clear track, He's hard to beat on lap times. He went P3 in Q2. The final race of the day saw multiple contacts in turn 1, with some discussion as to whose fault it was.
Yes, I had a really good start, tried around outside and got some assistance to go around the corner, but ended up in the tires, and the stewards are here to do a job, and they look on the situation and they decide, and I think we all as teams and drivers have to expect the rules that are, and if we don't follow, they will give us penalties.
In the end, the stewards weren't interested in Eckstrom and Kristoffersson. It was Andreas Backrud who was handed a penalty for contact with Timmy Hansen on the brakes. The last lap saw a drag race to the flag for the VW teammates, and this time it was Kristoffersson by just 0.2 of a second, showing how incredibly close it is at the sharp end of World RX.
Put the finger on what we did wrong in Hockenheim and why we didn't was as quick as we wanted. And now we have to continue analyze, keep pushing, because the guys are really working really hard over the nights we have seen before. And also we have to be really good in predicting the track conditions for tomorrow. And we will see a little bit with the weather how it goes, but I feel confident, and that's the most important thing.
VW teammates Kristoffersson and Solberg P1 and P2 with a win apiece. Loeb, Eriksson, Block, Hansen, Eckstrom, Timmers, Jarnov, Kevin Hansen, Hakkinen, Backrud and Nittish are inside the top 12. Everybody else will need to fight their way into the semis.
Now, Topi Hakkinen, here in Belgium, is a circuit you must like and have good memories of?
Yeah, I won here in 2014 and 15, so we have really good memories, and also Matias won here last year, so it's not bad memories.
Well, let's have a look at your qualifying 1, qualifying 2 today. There's the left is qualifying 1, qualifying 2. Now the starts, your reaction times are very good.
Yeah, I've been always really good in the reaction times compared to my teammates, and that's just one of my strongest parts, honestly. And yeah, like we see in the video that the qualifying 1, I was together with Matias Eckstrom, so it was really clear for both of us what we're doing on the first corner. But on the second qualifying, I started on the outside, and there was a lot of traffic, and I get the hit from Kevin on the turn 1, so it wasn't really optimal. But we managed to survive somehow out of that corner, and yeah, like you are P4 after the turn 1, you know, you're losing already, like we see in here in data that it's almost 2.5 seconds. So it's overall time, of course, is much far back.
You lose time, you're in amongst the Kevins, and also you get dust, which is a problem when you're behind 3 or 4 cars.
Yeah, like you can see on the chicanes that where it's really need to be concentrated to the apex points, that's really hard to see sometimes. So it's not easy to drive in, especially in this track, behind someone. But yeah, it's part of the game and we need to survive. But like in the scene on the first qualifying, when I was following Matias, there was some ruts and some holes. So sometimes it's really hard to see when you're following someone. But yeah, overall, the Q1 was a good one. Of course, the track is improving all the time, like especially here in Belgium. So I think the first quali was a good one for us, but the second one was a bit bad. And also on the second qualifying, I did the choker on the last lap. I think that's the right choice, and but it was really hard to do it even better because the start was so bad. But if you look in the times, if you take a good start, it makes your life much easier. So that is the key for tomorrow, of course. And like we can see here, the choker is really tricky. And like on the choker, when I was following the Kevin, it was really dusty and it was really hard to see the apexes. But yeah, it's the game. It's part of the game, and.
You still nailed it though, and you across the finish line, pumped, full of adrenaline. Watching this now, is there anything that you can pick up on for Q3 to improve, shave off a few tenths of a second here and there?
Yeah, we have analyzed everything, and there is one guy in the track who's telling exactly what we need to do for tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Well, we wish you all the very best, and good luck in Q3 and 4.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Topi.
My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary this weekend is British touring car legend Tim Harvey. Neil Cole, as always, reporting from the paddock and the spotters tower. Well, here's how they stand ahead of Q3. Johan Kristoffersen and Petter Solberg equal at the top of the table, having taken one of the 2 qualifying sessions each. Down at the bottom of the top 12, we've got Bakkerud and Nittish, with several drivers looking to fight their way in. Start of Q3, down to turn 1, Baumanis got an absolutely fantastic start. The track had been repaired overnight, so there were new tarmac sections, and we were expecting it to be very quick indeed. Checkered flag for the Latvian in the first one. Race 2, watch De Borg here, gets punted sideways on the way up to turn 1. Looks like he's P5, slots up the inside and comes out of it in P1. Really great recovery from the French driver. Unfortunately for him, he had engine problems later on, which meant although he took the checkered flag, the time wouldn't be good enough to see him far up the table. One of our new head-to-head graphics for you. These guys are in the next race together. Timmy Hansen and Andreas Bakkerud, a couple of the youngsters, you might say, coming up through Rallycross. And look at that, Timmy Hansen with a very consistent year right at the top. Bakkerud, unfortunately, has just gone downhill so far. 6 times they've met on track. 50-50 it's gone in terms of wins when they've met this year on the grid together. 5 qualifying race wins for Hansen, 6 for Bakkerud. 0 semi-final wins and no finals either. And it's Bakkerud for me who's had the worst year so far. The stats don't quite show that. Race 3 of Q3, all lined up. Inside, the world champion Matias Eckstrom, last year's winner, hasn't been on form so far this weekend, but don't count him out. Remember Hockenheim. Timo Scheider is DTM rival next to him. Look at both those guys have gone for a new front right tyre only. Timmy Hansen, Francois Duval with brand new boots all round, and Andreas Bakkerud on the outside. Andreas Bakkerud in P11, that's the first time he's been in the semis after day 1, and he's still having pretty rotten luck. Got a 5-second penalty yesterday after contact with Timmy Hansen in the first corner. Stewards could see that from a different angle than we could, so if you saw the Q2 stuff earlier or yesterday, they had a view from above. That's what they judged to have happened. Bakkerud took it on the chin. What can he do around the outside this time? This is a quality lineup. Green light, even start between them. Scheider goes a little bit sideways. Hansen's caught in a sandwich between Duval. Scheider into the back of Eckstrom. Bakkerud tried to come around the outside. A little bit of understeer for him. He's going to be alongside, but Scheider's up his inside as they go into turn 2. Bakkerud will have the left, but Hansen's alongside him as well, and he does slot in, so Bakkerud slots in at P3. And somehow, out of all that, Eckstrom's come out clean.
Yeah, Eckstrom just managed to hold it, but the battle was for second there. They were side by side, and maybe it was the racecraft of Scheider, but he got there in second place.
Ekstrom keeps getting there. We need to see this today, Tim. This will be very interesting because he needs to be further up the grid than he currently is. I mean, where is he overnight? Ekstrom P7. It'd be hard to win from there, I think, but we can't count him out when you look how they turned it round at Hockenheim. And here he is, look, leading his race after a complicated start. He's always there. He just never falters.
He'll have made overnight changes, I'm sure. It'll be very interesting to see this time at the end of this because he's leading at the moment. If he gets to the end, we'll see his time from a clear run.
Timmy Hansen looks like he wasn't over the moon with his start because he joked on the first lap. We're guessing about 3 seconds for the joke. We'll have our predictor graphics up for you. Look at that when they commit over that curb at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, that curb on the right as they enter. The car's loaded to the right anyway, so real big hit.
It hops up as they come in. They're coming in there so fast as well. They really are. Bakkerud gets the focus straight in the background, but Eckstrom has already gapped Scheider. Tim Harvey's looking at the timing screen as we speak. Scheider backs it in over the jump. Bakkerud's right with him. Sends it at the bottom. Different driving styles than these two. I'm so impressed with Timo Scheider, Tim. He's come from this aero, DTM, super serious background. This guy is always smiling. I'm willing to bet money he's got grin on his face right now.
Yeah, it gives hope to all of us racing drivers, doesn't it? That we could be rallycross drivers.
Get yourself in a car, Tim. Come on, nearly everyone's graduated from this commentary box to rallycross. We need to get you out there, Tim. Someone offer Tim Harvey a drive. I'll take a cut. Eckstrom leads. Bakkerud goes into the Joker lap. And there we can see the loose gravel on the outside into the Joker with him, I think, with Francois Duval, yeah. He comes out behind Timmy, so Timmy's Joker tactics looking good, and Timmy will be hoping to close that gap down to Eckstrom as we go into the last lap. What was it? Hansen plus 5.5, though, after his Joker. That's not, I mean, Eckstrom's going to come out of this. It's only him and Scheider. I think Eckstrom got fastest up of the day.
Yeah.
He's smashing it.
Yeah, he looked quick, didn't he? And as I say, those overnight changes. And the track is quicker today. We know the track is quicker, so this time's going to be interesting. But I think Bakkerud would be very disappointed. His season's not getting any better.
Listen to that on the limiter from Eckstrom as he tries to find traction. from the four-wheel drive Audi machine. He's going for his Quattro this weekend, his 4 wins in a row. That's why everyone's decided to call it 2:44.555. That would have seen him yesterday, I think, P3 in Q1, and it would have been enough to win Q2. So Eckstrom is bang on the pace of yesterday, but what will the guys who're still to come be able to do? Eckstrom takes it with a 2:44.555. Very appropriate number there for motorsport fans. Timmy Hansen, Scheider, Backerud and Francois Duval are your top 5. And look at that, 4 out of the 5 into the top 4. Francois Duval slots into 6. So the pace is going up. Is the track quicker? Is it quicker than yesterday? Is it sweeping? We've got 10 fast guys still to come. Timmy. Very big squeeze at the start.
Big squeeze, Backerud all the way around the outside. Battle for second place between Scheider and Backerud, which Scheider got initially, but Eckstrom was away.
Tidy job by him. There's that tricky Joker section. Go on, Tim, what are your thoughts
Hansen
here?
took the Joker from 4th place, look, on the first lap. And by the line, he'd actually just snatched second from Schneider. It was a really good call to take that.
Very good spot, very good spot. So Timmy did manage to get P2. So yeah, nicely done. Bad start, early Joker. The Joker here's long enough to make yourself some space, and then he could chase him down.
Javier, that's a benchmark time there from Matias Eckstrom. What have you done to the car overnight? Seems completely different.
Well, the car itself, we changed a bit, obviously, but the track has evolved a lot. There were some changes overnight in the tarmac special, turn 6, turn 7. So it seems after the warm-up on these first hits, the track is cleaner, but we expect to be still quicker for the next hits, so we'll see.
Thank you. 2
races to go in Q3. How fast is this track going to get? Eckstrom set a good time, but can these guys beat it? Kevin Eriksson on the inside, no round the outside for him this time. Next to him is Timo Timosjanov, Niklas Gronholm in the middle of the grid, Kevin Hansen, and on the outside, Topi Heikkinen. Twice a winner here, remember. New tyres for Heikkinen, Gronholm and Timosjanov. Heikkinen currently P10 overnight, Kevin Hansen is P9. There's Timosjanov. Timosjanov is P8. His favourite position this year is P7. He's P7 everywhere. Every session, every qualifier has become a bit of a running joke for him. On his social media channels, there are the spotters. And they will all be hoping for a clean Turn 1. This place is a bit notorious in Turn 1. What's going to happen this time round? Ready to race. Gronholm looked the slowest of the starters there, and indeed he dropped back. Timosjanov's got it over Eriksson, but round the outside, Heikkinen on the handbrake into Turn 1. Outstanding at the back. Timosjanov has spun, but that was a brilliant start by Topi Heikkinen.
Well, as you see, he saw his teammate win the last heat, and he had 4 brand new tyres on and 1 mission. He psyched himself up in the car. Perfect start.
That was brave, Tim, wasn't it? I mean, you know, can you call that from the spotters? He surely can't know in the car with that much going on whether or not he can just turn it in and bar it and go.
A little bit of peripheral vision, but he knew exactly what he was doing, and he set his goal to do it and made it come off.
Absolutely brilliant from Topi Heikkinen. Gronholm with a bit too much handbrake, a bit too early in the standard lap. Into the Joker lap goes Scheider and Timosjanov. Eriksson and Timosjanov has done a pretty good job of recovering from that kind of half spin. We didn't see what happened to him because we were so busy looking at the outstanding performance of Topi out front. Kevin Hansen clips the tyre bale down at the bottom. They tidied those tyre bales up overnight after they've been clipped by a lot of the drivers. They're using every inch of the track.
Yeah, I think Eriksson at the back has got a puncture or some damage on the left rear.
Tim Harvey looking from the commentary position. We can see them down the back straight. They're a fair old distance away from us. Topi and Kevin opting for slightly different lines out. There we go, and that might suggest you're right, Tim, looking at some of the debris that's on the track. Maybe there was contact between him and Timosjanov. It's really tight now through this section. You guys go to the camera at the bottom of the jump and maybe don't see what we see from. We're literally stood above that corner before the jump, and it's narrow through there. This is one of the most technical tracks in the championship, I think, Tim.
Yeah, it requires a bit of everything, doesn't it? It requires very good suspension, good change of direction, a good front end, and well, it's a great challenge, and the track is constantly changing. That's the other good thing about it. Rallycross should have a changing track.
Yeah, it's one of the challenges. It is one of the challenges. Trying to adapt the car and you're driving to it. Gronholm goes to the Joker. Handbrake early, that's a bit nicer. That's kind of what he was looking for, I think, on the first lap on the inside. He's covered off Timosjanov, who runs out, picks up the dirt. We ride on board with the Russian now. He made a brilliant pass up the inside a couple of years ago. There you can see perfectly demonstrated just how narrow that is as you come over the jump.
Yeah,
Look how
great
hard
on
he's
board.
working.
Oh, clipping the tyres there was Gronholm. That won't have done his front left any good, and he's wide on the hairpin.
Oh, it just looks such good fun, doesn't it? Like when they...
Oh!
Massive off! Kevin Hansen with a huge roll! Kevin Hansen has rolled on the uphill gravel section. The car is in bits. Kevin, I'm sure, will be okay. The safety cell is intact, but Kevin Hansen with a big roll at the back. That's the story from this one. Heikkinen takes it. Kevin Hansen will not make it round to the line, surely.
I think he must have clipped the tyres on the turn in to that far chicane. We were talking about how fast
He's out of the car.
He's out of the car. A little bit winded, I'm sure, but otherwise intact.
Kevin's out the car. He will be okay, guys. He will be okay. He's winded. That is a big hit.
He comes in a bit too hot. Look, he's wide coming in, loses the back, clips the tyres. That sends the car across the other side of the road, and it just rolls over.
If he'd hit the tyre wall on the outside there, the second hit a bit earlier, it would have flicked him back round, wouldn't it? But it just dug in and went, so...
That was going from the moment he turned in, too late.
He would have known to, and we said that's high speed there. You can see, I mean, look at Timosyanov in the background. They're backing it into him from, what, 5th, 6th gear?
Yeah, it's over 100 mile an hour.
That's fast, isn't it? That's fast. You saw from the way Kevin left the car that he's in a little bit of pain, but he will be okay. Toppy Heikkinen takes it from Niklas Gronholm, Timo Timosyanov, Kevin Eriksson, DNF for Kevin Hansen. Toppy slots into P3, look, and he's 2 seconds off the pace of his team boss. We've got one race left to go. Can he be beaten?
Kenneth, so big incident there for Kevin. Most important thing, is he okay?
Yeah, we got the news directly on the radio from him that he was okay. So he was limping a little when he got out of the car, but the first sign of him was he was okay. So lost the car on the braking, and with these tire walls, it's yeah, you know, it's no limit, then it goes badly. So yeah, that's how it is.
He was going well. He looked like he was on quite a big push as well.
Yeah, he really tried to catch Heikkinen to keep up some time there. But of course, you know, when it's a limit also, and a small loss of the rear, and then you touch the tires. Yeah, that's like it is.
I hope he's all right. Thank you.
Hope so too. Thank you.
The Monster Energy girls are leaving the grid, and this is the last time we're going to see racing in Q3. Johan Kristoffersen and Petter Solberg on the inside. Sebastian Loeb, Ken Block and Reinis Nittisch. Nittisch with just the one new tyre, Loeb all four. Look, Kristoffersen's opted to take 2, Petter is on used. Remember, Solberg and Kristoffersen have won a qualifying session each. There was a 1/10 of a second in it for Q1, 2/10 for Q2. Who's going to take this one? Thumbs up from the marshal. The ready to race light will come on at the top of your screen. That'll go out. It's a random gap to green light, and then a race to turn 1. Oh, brilliant start by both the VWs. Nittisch moves across, Block goes backwards. Loeb's going to have to give way here. He's on the outside. Oh, Solberg outbreaks himself. Kristoffersen. Loeb's going to get Solberg. Solberg super sideways down the hill. Block has a little look at the inside. The bumper is off the back, but Kristoffersen is out front, and that has played right into his hands.
Well, mistake from Solberg, as you say. He got the start, but just outbraked himself.
What do you do when your teammate's next to you, Tim? You want to outbrake him, don't you? Know you've got the same material underneath, you've got the same metal, and it didn't go right.
Is this the start of some inter-team rivalry that's creating mistakes on the track? Well, I'm just asking the question.
We'll see, won't we? We'll see, of course. Or is it a tyre thing as well? Of course, Kristoffersen, did he take 2 new on? Yeah, took 2 new on the front.
But Loeb had 4 new, didn't he? He really meant business, and he's in second place.
Look at Kristoffersen, though. My favourite part of the track for these guys is this section that Loeb's in now. You could really see the commitment when you stand down there. It's a lovely shot we've got through it as well. They're hard on the gas and hard on the brake in between. There is no quarter given by these guys.
No, remember, they're racing against the clock, and to that end, Block, who made a bad start, nearly stalled it, took his joker on the first lap, and remember Timmy Hansen earlier in the day, he had a really good result after jokering on the first lap, so he can still get a good lap time.
It's not a bad idea, is it? Either into the joker lap went, it must have been Solberg, I think it was Solberg joking, and to me was a little bit wide, Tim. That's not the most perfect lap we've seen. You can hear the tyres protesting as they send it over the jump. And here's Kristoffersen down the hairpin, a little bit of handbrake. There's Loeb right behind. Spin in the background for Nittisch. Reinis Nittisch has a spin. Solberg will be up to P3 as a result of that, so the Latvian driver has dropped the Audi. We didn't see if there was any contact or if he just dropped it by himself. It's so hard down there, Tim. The car transitioning pretty much from the crest to the hairpin.
It was coming off the jump, wasn't it? Which is an awkward angle as Loeb takes the joke. Again, it's very loose on the outside there. If they don't keep that car tucked in right on the apex, and look,
he's covered off Solberg. He's covered off Solberg. So Loeb's gone in reaction to Solberg. Solberg's joker wasn't very good, and neither was Loeb's. When we say not very good, look at the jump. We're talking tiny margins here. But will we expect to see Kristoffersson? Will they be on the radio saying keep it tidy in the joker? There's got to be a couple of tenths in there, Tim.
Yeah, if the spotters have seen that, they will say keep it tight, keep it tight, keep it tight.
So he must go. Remember, Kristoffersson had an issue where he missed his joker. He's not going to miss it this time. 38.3, bang on over the curbs. Little bit sideways on the exit, but he's going to come out miles in front. It was a 10th in Q1. It was 2 tenths in Q2. But Kristoffersson here, what's he done? 2:42.1. He's gone 2 and a bit seconds faster than Eckstrom, and that is the gauntlet thrown down.
And I don't think that's track evolution. I think the track is fine. That is just pure pace. His fastest lap, over half a second quicker than Eckstrom.
Impressive. Very impressive indeed. Mettet rolls past the spotters tower. There it is, 2:42.1 from Kristoffersson, who got the start and got an accurate joker lap. How much nearer would Loeb and Solberg have been there in P2 and P3? Ken Block, not the best start. Nittish, those guys drop off the front page, and look at that, 3 of them into the top 4. Eckstrom, though, fighting back again. Heikkinen in P6. Audi always find a way to fight back. Can they get it and get that 4th win in a row here? Here was the start. Ken Block went backwards, as I say. What happened? So Solberg looked deep. In fact, Solberg had the door shut, didn't he, on Kristoffersson, but only by virtue of being too late on the brakes.
There was a tiny touch with Nittish on the left rear. That might have upset him as well.
So he could have run wide due to that. See the transition again there, even though he only got the car partly in shot. You see this wonderful flinging of it from side to side. I think that's one of the appeals of this brilliant sport, Tim, is the pure physicality of watching cars on the limit.
Yeah, it's an intense aggression with control. Oh, that was, look, yeah, it was landing off the jump.
So Nittish, that's that tricky transition. And in fact, did Ken Block go through as well? Yeah, he did. So Nittish with his problems there, but no problems for Johan Kristoffersson out front. Is this going to be the first win this weekend for VW? Johan Kristoffersson, having won 2 of the sessions, is at the top. Petter Solberg remains in P2. Sebastian Loeb remains in P3, but Eckstrom, look, up to 4th place. He was 7th, so he wasn't far away, but it's just another impressive Sunday performance from the EKS team. Timmy Hansen, Ken Block is in P6, that's great. Heikkinen is in 7th. Where was he? He was 10th overnight, so they're going up. Andreas Backrud was 11th, he's 8th. Timoziano, Scheider, Kevin Eriksson and Niklas Gronholm is just holding on to a place in the semi-finals. He's up 1 spot there, and that will because, of course, Kevin Hansen has dropped down to 14th with that roll. Reinis Nittish is in P13. It's a big job for Kevin Hansen to make it to the semi-finals. He's just outside, and of course it is going to depend on what these magicians can do in the paddock. They are going to have to work incredibly hard to get this car turned around. Are we going to see Kevin Hansen in Q4? Can he fight his way back into the semi-finals? Analysis package for you from Mettet in Belgium, and this was on Friday free practice. We had a Friday free practice session, and look at this, Backrud digging into the down ramp of the jump, this unique drop-off jump in Belgium. And Tim Harvey, you're here with us this weekend, and they've made a change basically to avoid that part of the track becoming carnage.
Yeah, a little bit of tarmac been placed there on the landing strip. The driver's softest landing is if you take it just sort of left of centre, but the best line probably is off over to the left.
We have seen the guys running off the side of the tarmac pad. Here it is now. So this is Reinis Nittish, and as Tim says, if the line is right, they kind of land on it, but we have seen them either side of it. We've seen them short, and if you look at it now, this is very soon after they laid the tarmac, but there are now huge grooves in the tartan where they're landing. It's a big jump.
It's a big jump, a lot of compression, and the car's bottoming out as they do with the soft suspension here to cope with the rough surface.
The curb on the inside, they're quite violent as well, and we're now looking at Timo Scheider coming through the curb section, which is the chicane leading onto the straight, and Scheider here comes in with a fair bit of understeer, but hits the curb, Tim, and really sideways.
Yeah, big curb there, and you can see a lot of loose stuff on the outside as well. It's a very rough section of the track, and then you've got to get the car hauled down, right down to first gear for the tight hairpin.
A little bit of handbrake into the hairpin. You can see the rear there, the car starting to rotate. You can transition it from the gravel section, and then it's crucial, of course, to get that power down because there's such a long straight run afterwards. Here comes Timmy Hansen through here in a completely contrasting style to Scheider.
Yeah, very much so. Not taking anything like as much curb, but keeping the car as tight as possible. All about keeping the car going forward and not reacting off the bumps.
Curbs here, nowhere near as high as they were in Montenegro, but having a surprising effect on the cars. Hansen into that hairpin, and again, here we can see Tim at the rear locked up.
Locked up on the handbrake, big rotation, little bit of bodywork coming off there, and then pull the gears, one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on the gear lever as fast as you can.
This is Sebastian Loeb at the other end of the straight. We walked up there, Tim, and this section is mighty fast on the approach if you get it wrong, and you're threading the needle the whole way through.
Yeah, it's a blind turn in through the tyres. It looks ever so narrow just walking it, so goodness knows what it looks like at 100 miles an hour on the approach.
Loeb exiting that gravel section. They then cross over the tarmac, and this is Ken Block in the Joker lap.
Yeah, loose bit of soil right around the outside. He's on the handbrake, rear locked up. It's a tightening apex corner, so he's got to get that rotation done right to the end. Now back on the power, coming out of the corner. It's a good exit to the end of the lap and the finish line.
Here's where we stand ahead of Q4. Johan Kristoffersen at the top of the table from his teammate Petter Solberg. Those guys are very, very fast, but very closely matched indeed. Who's going to take Q4? Towards the bottom end of the top 12, Kevin Eriksson and Niklas Gronholm. Just outside it, Nitish and Kevin Hansen. Kevin won't go any further this weekend.
Well, Kevin, it's good to see you in one piece. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite okay. I think it was my first big roll, so yeah, I think it was quite a heavy one. It's a really high speed where I crashed. When I entered, I braked a bit too late and lost the rear. So I hit this big curb with the side, just the thing under the door, and it's flicked me the other way, and I rolled a few times. I think it's no place to do a mistake in this area, and that's really a shame.
On to qualifying 4. The first race seeing Kevin Eriksson, de Moustier and Schischerit up against each other. It was Kevin Eriksson who needed to get out front and disappear from these two, and thanks to their squabbling, he did manage to do that. De Moustier there being turned around by Schischerit. We weren't sure if the stewards would take any action on that or not. Eriksson was very quick indeed, benchmark set for Q4. The next race saw Reinis Nitish, who was sitting in P13, fighting for a place in the semi-finals. Tamas Karai spinning around. No such problems for Reinis Nitish. He made it to the end of the race and saw the checkered flag first, but would he be quick enough to qualify? Race 3, Q4. Niklas Gronholm on the inside, Francois Duval, Guy Wilkes, Timo Timosyanov and JB Dubourg. Nobody is on new tyres. Gronholm is 12th after Q3, so he'll be wanting to hold on to that position. Timo Timosyanov is currently in P9. The Russian driver, who is pretty much, I think, the longest serving supercar driver, remembering he was doing European supercar before the World Championship started, but has had a wind drought since 2012. Green light, it's a bad start there for Duval. Duval drops straight back. Timosyanov's going to try and come around Wilkes, but he thinks better of it, so Wilkes gets the whole shot into turn 1. Timosyanov still alongside him on the gravel on the outside. He comes across and shuts the door on Gronholm. There's contact between Gronholm and Dubourg in the background there. We haven't seen who's made it through on board with Timosyanov. Now down, nips the handbrake on. Wilkes touches the tyres on the inside and then pulling gears down the straight. Tim, what a weapon these cars are.
Yeah, fantastic to watch. 600 horsepower four-wheel drive, but great start by Wilkes. He didn't get the best of starts. How close was he to that wall? He didn't get the best of starts in the previous heat, but he got a perfect one this time off third to close the door into turn 1.
Gronholm into the joke lap. Gronholm was quick this morning in practice, maybe getting his head around that car. Timosyanov will be keen to try and get past Wilkes if he feels he's got better pace. During the course of the weekend so far he has, but he will know as well that Wilkes is no slouch, so he's not necessarily going to lose much time behind him, but if you think you can go a bit quicker, to me the Russians, he's on him, maybe releasing via the Joker.
He might go for the Joker, but that might just drop him into the other cars in the heat that could be slower as well. Maybe he'll wait another lap, we'll have to see.
Up to the Joker, that's split now. Where does Timosyanov go? He follows Wilkes again, so Timosyanov into the standard lap, into the Joker lap goes Dubourg and Duval in the background. So those guys are gone now, and that will give Timmer the chance. Gronholm comes out the Joker in front of those guys. So Timosyanov now to the Joker if he wants to on lap 3, and he knows he won't end up back in the traffic as long as he doesn't make a mistake on this one. But Wilkes has gapped him a little bit there.
Yeah, although he's caught up a little bit through the chicane and into the heavy. He's very quick in that section, actually. He flies over that jump very quickly, does Timosyanov.
Timosyanov into that fast section at the back now, up and over the section which the organisers repaired last night. Done a good job with that. Wilkes is doing well here. Wilkes goes Joker, Timosyanov goes standard lap, so now it's absolutely hammered down for the Russian. He has to try and get the gap back to try and get past Wilkes. Wilkes clips the tyres on the outside, Tim.
Yeah, Wilkes ran too fast and had to back out of it, but he still comes out in front of Gronholm.
But Gronholm's going well here, so Gronholm's actually matching the pace of these guys out front because he went so early on the Joker. The gap at the minute is 3.3. Okay, so 0.6 per second in Wilkes' favour, so we think Wilkes is going to be up by 6/10 at the end of this, but not if Gronholm gets involved here. Will that be holding them up? Timosyanov out front will have to put in an absolute flyer if he wants to get the overlap. And has this cost them time racing through the heat race? We will find out. Into the Joker goes Timosyanov. He keeps it tight. He may be tighter than Wilkes. This is going to be super tight on the run to the line, but I think the Russians edged it. Guy Wilkes slides out wide. Great job, Timosyanov. Guy Wilkes just losing out on the last lap, maybe with that little battle. 2:46.0. Timmer is 8/10 down, has a look in his mirror. Yes, Timmer, you've done it.
Yeah, that little moment in the Joker cost Wilkes some time. He ran wide, had to back out of it, didn't get on the throttle early enough to change direction, get out the Joker. That's what cost him the position.
Timosyanov takes it from Guy Wilkes. Look at that, only half a second in it. Maybe that Joker lap mistake the problem. Gronholm did well to hang on to the back of them. Dubourg and Duval. Slotting in, Ericsson is still P1 with a 2:45.2, so Timmer was 8/10 off that. Guy Wilkes is right up there. Got a couple of races to go.
Timmer, you got a really good Joker and you won that race. Do you think it's quick enough?
Yeah, I was lucky because the tactic was different. I should go to the Joker lap on number 3 lap, but I saw that the guy is going there. I need to give him a place, but I think after that I do the best lap, that I get this one, the gap from him.
It'll be great to see you in the semi-finals.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really tough because the start was not so good from outside lines, but I get it somehow. Nice. Smoke is coming.
There's some smoke.
My brakes is smoking.
You better go.
I got my light. See you.
2 races to go in Q4. Topi Heikkinen, he's won here twice. He's on the inside. Scheider next to him. Backward and Ken Block, the 4 teammates alongside each other, and Janis Valmanis on the outside. 1 new tyre for Timo Scheider front right. There's 3 left-handers on this track, which that would make a difference for. Look at Topi Heikkinen blinking, just trying to clear his eyes and make sure that he doesn't have to blink at the crucial moment, and that is now as the marshal walks across in front of Heikkinen. Look at his hand right up at the top of the handbrake. He pulls it on hard. He's in 2nd gear, I noticed there on the dashboard. Ready to race, light goes out. Off the line. Oh, so Scheider goes backwards, but it's equal between the others. Slotting in the background is Valmanis. Around the outside is Ken Block, who goes around the outside of Heikkinen. Heikkinen that gives him a tap. Block manages to hold it. Go on, Ken. Great driving from Ken Block to be leading as they go down through the chicane for the first time.
That was a very close start, and he absolutely nailed it, because I thought Heikkinen had it.
Ken Block this weekend, P11 in Q1, P4 in Q2, and P9 in Q3. This is a great performance, and that, Tim, is him battling with the world's best rallycross drivers and coming out in front. That was a good bullish drive from him.
Yeah, when Ken Block's had his occasional appearances, he's never quite got on top of it, but now he's in the championship. Every race, he's getting better and better.
The car is definitely much more to his liking this year. Heikkinen will want to get out in front of him. In the background, backward, and Valmanis and Joker early. Block knocks the tyres flying. He might get a warning from that for the stewards. I think he's unlikely to get a penalty on the first first offence, but we'll see. On board with Heikkinen, look at this, he's frantic on the gears down the back straight. Doesn't quite make it a fifth, look at that. Bangs it down a gear and high in the RPM as they go into that tight left-hander.
Yeah, just down one gear before he pitches the car in. Notice he pitches it in on the throttle, and he goes for the Joker. And he's run very wide, look how wide he's out on the loose.
Nice recovery, but very, very deep indeed. And he's going to come across backward now, the merge backward alongside him, down towards the very quick left-hander. Backward is late on the brakes, back to the focus in over the crest, and Heikkinen has lost out.
That is the difference. And, okay, we're racing the clock now, but we get to the semis and the final, and that's how you lose a position, through the Joker.
Look at this onboard, I absolutely love it. He can barely pull the gears fast enough, Tim, as they go down the back straight.
He could have jumped a gear, didn't he? Good spot starting in second gear, though. That was a very good spot.
Over the gravel section, you can hear the car just frantically scrabbling for traction. On board again, come down the straight. I wonder if he'll stay with him for the jump. He's going to go on the brakes and then pitches it into the left. Look how narrow this is. You come through, pick up the throttle. Over the drop down and into the right-hander. It's just non-stop input. Block out front from Scheider. Target time, bottom of the screen. Both those guys yet to Joker. Backward is closing them down. 3.7 seconds in it. Is Backward going to take this one when they Joker? It's going to depend a bit how good their Joker laps are.
It is, because it's around 3.5 seconds.
Block goes into the Joker lap now. Scheider will follow him. Backward's going to be up the inside. Block's wide. He's wide. That's surely going to go to Backward. Scheider's going to be tight. This is going to be a four-way merge. Ken Block did really well. In fact, he's only just behind his teammate, but it goes to Backward with Block just behind him. Heikkinen and Scheider. Scheider with the wheel on the dirt there as he comes over the finish line. Baumanis at the back. And that was all about the Joker laps. And Ken Block, that's great pace from him again.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good time. But we saw two mistakes in the Joker running out wide. The pressure's on now. We're in Q4.
Heikkinen blinks again, finally. There won't have been much blinking going on when he was in there, were we? Riding on board with him. You saw how hard it is to drive these cars. Backward with the 244.6. His teammate Ken Block, very impressive, 244.9. It would have been faster without that mistake in the Joker lap. And look where they slot in. P1 and P2. That is a fantastic performance. We're going to see Ken Block right up there in the semi-finals. Heikkinen slots into fourth, Scheider into sixth.
Two very good race times there. 2:44's good times. The teammates doing well.
Guy Wilkes in P7. He was P17 before we came into this. There was that second gear start from Heikkinen. Look at that, up to fourth, down to third, and then down to second. And Ken Block came in the outside. There's contact here down the hill, and this is what, look at this. He gets sent sideways.
Ken's closing the door. Look, he's closing the door all the time. He was lucky not to get spun by Heikkinen there.
Heikkinen then Joker to release himself from behind Ken a lap after this. Look how tidy backwards Joker is, yeah? And then consider the fact that Ken ran wide on his Joker. Ken Block could have won this qualifying session, I reckon. Obviously, we've still got a race to come with the VWs, and they've been the pace setters so far, but I'm impressed with that. I'm really impressed. He battled it out, and he nailed the laps. It's just that wide Joker, and he's not the only one.
No, there we go. Toppy Heikkinen getting wide as well. He recovers it a little better, gets a good exit.
This was the merge between him and Backward. Look at this. So Heikkinen moves across the squeeze Backward. Backward kind of backs it in. Look, he can pick the throttle up a bit earlier. You see just a dab of the brake so they don't end up landing on the bottom part of the track, because they could from up there pretty much. And that wonderful, wonderful onboard. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. This was the mistake from Ken Block. Look, if he kept that tidy, I think he'd have got Backward, but I don't think he's going to be disappointed with that. He's P2 at the minute.
Andreas, fastest time so far. You must feel good to not be under huge pressure to make the semis this time.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It was a great heat. I mean, great that both myself and Ken was fighting up there, and I felt we got an extra pace in this heat. So whatever we did between Q3 and Q4, it's working. And good thing, I feel we have good tires for the semi-final. Should be able to push harder there. And yeah. It's good fun. It feels like the Ford Focus RS RX is on its way to do something good.
Let's hope so. See you in the semis.
Thank you.
Well, what a lineup for the final race of Q4. On the inside, Johan Kristoffersson, Matias Eckstrom. Next to him, Sebastian Loeb in the middle of the grid with Petter Solberg. And then on the outside, Timmy Hansen. So both the Peugeots and both the VWs, and Solberg, look, taking new tyres on the front. Eckstrom looking to fight back like he did in Hockenheim. He really wants that 4 in a row. Nobody has ever done it. Kristoffersson and Solberg can kind of split their strategy here, but they can't protect each other, and neither can Loeb and Hansen. You'd almost like one of your teammates next to you just to give you a bit of breathing space. Of course, Eckstrom will want to get the jump on the ball. Listen to that incredible engine note from the two VW Polo GTI supercars. Bad start, Solberg dips the clutch, but I still think he's got away well. Kristoffersson and Eckstrom alongside each other down to turn 1. Oh, Loeb's up the inside there. There's contact. Loeb's in the wall. Loeb's in the wall in turn 1 from the competition. We can see he's at 90 degrees. He has to reverse the turret out. There he goes. The 9-time champion was caught out by contact, I think, with Eckstrom. Kristoffersson is down into the hairpin at the bottom. Kristoffersson followed by Eckstrom and Solberg.
Well, it was actually Loeb who made a bad start, ducked up to the inside, and then got squeezed into the tyres. Whether he was forcing the issue or not, we'll have to see a replay. But that was what happened. Meanwhile, Kristoffersson has gone off, and it's his teammate Solberg, with this time with the 2 new tyres on the front, who jokers.
And a good joker, Tim. That was a really good joker. And we were talking this morning when we walked the track about Petter's ability on that one-off joker, especially on gravel, to nail it. Even if he goes in a bit deep, he rescues it.
Yeah, I had and a bit wide Eckstrom there. Look, he was very wide, and that's allowed Hansen through.
It has. So Hansen has passed Eckstrom. Good spot by Tim. There's a little bit damage to the rear of Eckstrom's car. I wonder if that's from that turn 1 contact there. Or was it from, you see there, you can see a wheel arch liner hanging out from underneath, and Solberg's now caught up.
Yeah, he's got a problem. He's slowing down, he's got a problem. I thought it was just body work. Look, he's running wide again. Yeah.
Eckstrom playing the game here, though. He's on the line.
Yeah, he's really got a
can't get past him. Solberg blasts past him. Eckstrom goes into the joker, but that's clever from Eckstrom. And that's what Solberg didn't do.
And he spun it. I think he's got no drive on that right rear. As a result of contact, he spun it there. The car went round.
So Eckstrom, the world champion, the world championship leader who's won 3 events in a row, is in trouble here in Q4. I'm certain he'll make it because he's P4 coming into this in the standings. He comes past the commentary box now. We can see him. You guys can't. Kristoffersson is at the back of the circuit already. He's absolutely miles in front of him. So Kristoffersson aiming here to try and take that top qualifier spot. And I think he's going to, Tim, because his teammate Solberg's been held up.
Yeah, very much so. I saw changes being made to the setup of Solberg's car after qualifying 3, but Kristoffersson is back where he's been spent all day.
Hansen gets out in front of Solberg, so Belgium making the call to joker him because they can see Petter's on absolute fly. Look at the pace in this VW. Just there, it surges forward. They're able to press on so hard in it.
You know, I think we're used to seeing Solberg really wild in the Citroën DS3. He's tidied up his style a bit, which is what Kristoffersson does in this VW. And maybe he hasn't quite got it as well as Kristoffersson at the moment, but that's what he's working on.
He can have a look at the data, can't he? He can compare it, and that's something Petter hasn't been able to do in recent years because he's been racing on his own. He's got a teammate now, and it is Kristoffersson who takes this one. How fast is it? 2:43.9, Tim Harvey. Yes, he is the quickest, so Kristoffersson will be top qualifier. And Eckstrom's front left is hanging off the car, so it's damage to the front. Kristoffersson, bottom right of your screen, you can see he's gone 0.6 quicker. Eckstrom now is desperate to get round. He wants to try and get himself through to a decent qualifying spot in the semi-finals. He will know that the car is badly damaged. The spotters would have told him. The world champion runs out towards the wall. Tim, he's dragging this back.
He's got to get across the line and get a finish. But look, it won't turn right.
Really struggling. I wonder what Eckstrom will say. I'm sure we'll go and find him in the paddock at some point. If not, then before the semi-finals. He was P4. He can afford to have a bad run here. But remember, P4 would have seen him on the front row in the semi-finals. And this is going to see him move back. He's fought back overnight. But unfortunately, Mettet has struck back. And Eckstrom is going to have to fight extra hard if he wants to take that 4th win in a row here. Johan Kristoffersson, 2:43.9. That is the fastest time in Q4. Timmy Hansen is second. Solberg, Loeb and Eckstrom. Loeb, of course, with the spin in turn 1. Was that with contact with Eckstrom? We're not sure. We'll have a look in a minute. Kristoffersson goes top from backward. Hansen, Ken Block, great performance, P4 here. That's going to see him right up there. I wonder if he'll make it up to the front rows of the semi-finals. Kevin Eriksson, Petter Solberg, Haken and Timosyanov. That's your top 8, and here's a look back at the start. So here's Eckstrom. I don't know, Eckstrom went out, and there was maybe contact between him and Solberg as well. That's the long shot from up above the joker lap. So at this point, Loeb is reversing himself out. And Eckstrom's car's in one piece here, Tim, but maybe already damaged.
Yeah, it may have been damaged, and then obviously the roughness of this circuit made it worse, but we can't see. Good, tidy joker.
That was Solberg's early joker, and that we can see some smoke there from Eckstrom's car in the distance. This is later in the race. We didn't see Solberg caught up behind Eckstrom. Eckstrom was definitely slow, but kept the car on line, which was very clever because he knows that compromises Solberg, and Eckstrom will be all over that. He'll just want to make sure that he can not do the damage, but make sure that somebody else is hurt by his problems as well. He's a very clever racer. It's fair enough. He stuck to his line, didn't do anything wrong. Loeb comes through at the end. Okay, here's a look back. Okay, Solberg and Eckstrom having a chat. He's not happy. Okay, so Eckstrom trying to... Solberg's cross. Solberg is really cross here, and Eckstrom is trying to say, my friend, come on, my friend. He's holding it. You can see, and that, I think, Tim, there we go, slams the door. Solberg's unhappy. And I think that is from Eckstrom holding him up at the gravel section at the rear.
Well, yeah, but he didn't have any choice. With a damaged car, he could barely turn the car, did he?
He stuck to his line. There's nothing against the rules.
Yeah.
Well, Christopherson takes the top of qualifying here in Belgium, winning Q2, Q3 and Q4. Solberg ends up P2 despite that problem with Eckstrom in this last qualifying heat. Hansen P3, Andreas Backer at P4. Loeb, Ken Block P6, great performance by him. Down towards the bottom end of your top 12 here, Ericsson, Timmerzian of Scheider. Gronholm makes the cut, great job. And Nittish has missed it. Rainis Nittish and Guy Wilkes just outside. And of course, the locals will be disappointed not to see Francois Duval.
Johan, top qualifier, your performance here this weekend in this car is phenomenal.
Yeah, I have to say that. I mean, I have to thank Volkswagen. They've done an amazing job, the whole team, analyzing a lot, and I think we put the finger on what we did wrong in Hockenheim. And like I said earlier this weekend, we have done a little bit different approach this weekend, and so far it seems to work very good. Now I was a bit unfortunate in the last year. I had a puncture already on lap 2 or 3 maybe, lap 3. So, yeah, I just tried to come to the end, and I saw also Eckstrom had a puncture already on lap 1, I think. So I saw in the mirror that he disappeared, but it's still a long way to go, and 16 points in the box, but there is still many more points to catch, so we just have to keep focused.
See, all the trouble was behind you in that race, and we saw Petter, your teammate, looking not very happy with Matias. Do you know what was going on?
No, I didn't see it, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken, just had a moment opening up your monster can there. It was not quite spraying champagne yet, but getting excited because you're both in the semi-finals, which is great news. Andreas, especially good for you because you've had such a difficult season so far.
Yeah, that's true. It was nice for both of us to get to the semi, and now we're in there together. It's going to be a hard one because Petter is there, me, Ken, I know Matias is in there. It's going to be brutal, and Timur, I don't know who's sixth, but it's going to be a hard one, and the thing is now is 6 laps, and on this track where you have the joker in the last corner, it's always going to be a hard battle in the first couple of corners.
Now, Ken, this circuit is a tricky one to learn. I know that it's not one of your favourites, but could that change? I mean, now you seem to have it dialed. You're doing extremely well this weekend.
Yeah, for the team, though, we've been able to make some good improvements over the weekend, constantly changing the car and trying to get on pace. And all the work on the starts in the off-season has really paid off. I've won 2 of the starts and then the qualifiers, so really that's the stuff that's put us at the front. Andreas and I are driving our arses off and doing the best that we can, but it's really a big team effort to try and get us to the front. So really this is the first time for us going into the semis with us both in the top 6. So really stoked on that, but it really genuinely is a team effort to get us there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how brutal this circuit can be just now. 2 races, 2 big rolls, but we know that this was particularly hard on the Focus last year. It's been less hard on it this year, but give us an idea of how you have to make this car cope with this circuit.
Well, I think we still have a lot of work to do. You know, but really a lot of it is, this is a big car. It really does work better on bigger, faster tracks with
Leyden Hill.
You know, something with longer, you know, wider corners. This is so much quick transition left and right that's where I think that we suffer a little bit. But hey, we've made it work. We've tried so many different setups to get the car up to speed, and it's working. So I'm really stoked to be where we're at. I thought that we would be, you know, further back, honestly, because of what it takes on this track to really be quick.
So the strategy, you're both in the same race, and also a few other drivers who've got a little bit of beef going on between Petter and Matias, we noticed. So are you, what's your strategy between you two going into turn 1?
Well, I think there's only one strategy, and that's take the start and go, you know. No, obviously it's gonna be very hard, and we can make an A plan, but it's always, this is Rallycross, we're always gonna end up with plan E or F or G or H, I don't know. You know, it takes the whole alphabet into that corner.
But hopefully the plan will be to get you both into the final. We hope to see that. Final word, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
On peut voir que les monsters cars sont présents sur la grille. Wow, sous le soleil en plus.
Hello from Mettet in Belgium. We are here for round 4 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, and if you've been watching the action so far, you will know it has been fierce. We've just had a very brief rain shower. The umbrellas have been up, they've gone back down again. The track's looking damp but not wet. The sun is back out. The crowd are bang up for this, and so are we. My name's Andrew Coley. On commentary with me this weekend is British touring car legend Tim Harvey, reporting from the paddock, and of course the spotters tower is Neil Cole. There is Johan Kristoffersen. He is your top qualifier man. Let's have a look at how qualifying went. And we can give you a little bit of a story if you've missed it so far. Big crowd waiting for the semi-finals. So Johan Kristoffersen, the 4th different top qualifier this year, but so far none of them have won. Eckstrom's won them all. Solberg is P2, so it was a 1-2 for Volkswagen. Then Timmy Hansen, Andreas Backerud, Sebastian Loeb, Ken Block. Great performance by the American this weekend. Topi Heikkinen, he's a double winner here. Behind him, Eckstrom, he's won here once, and that was last year. He wants 4 in a row. Is he going to get it? It's going to be tough from there. Kevin Eriksson, Timothy Mazjanov, Timo Scheider, and Niklas Gronholm. The odds go to semi-final 1. The evens go to semi-final 2. Volkswagen are in the box seat. Peugeot have been very fast recently. Ford have been recovering. This is going to be fantastic, so stay with us. Neil Cole is down on the pre-grid. He caught up with Timmy Hansen a few minutes ago to talk about tyres.
Timmy, front row of the semi-final. I just saw you checking out Johan Kristoffersen's car there. What are you looking for?
I was checking what tyres he has. It's quite important. I have 3 new tyres because one was punctured earlier, and he have 2, so maybe that's that extra new tire will make the difference.
Well, it might all change because I can feel there's some rain. Just like in Hockenheim, it can all change like that with the weather.
Yeah, we feel the drips now, so I think everyone is ready with the rain tires, and it's a bit too exciting from this point of view, but I'm ready to fight through the semi and the final. This is the part that I like the most.
Yeah, of course, a great result for you last time in Hockenheim. You seem to be on the pace. What can you go one better or get a race, an event win?
Yeah, absolutely, we can win. We're in front row in the semi. I've won from worse places.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good to hear from Timmy Hansen. And he mentioned the rain as well. I say it did rain quite hard, but it's gone very quickly as well, and it is bright sunshine now. They're forming up on the grid. We can tell you what we've got coming up for you in the next hour or so. First of all, of course, the World RX semi-finals live. The top 3 from each of these go through. It's a damp track. The form book is wide open here. It's going to be very exciting. The Rx2 Championship starts here this weekend. We've got the final of that for you. Semi-finals have just happened here in Belgium. They were exciting. And then, of course, the live World RX final from Mettet in Belgium. Is Eckstrom going to go for the Quattro, or is he going to be denied? Cars forming up on the grid. I think we're pretty much ready to go already. Let's have a look at the grid for semi-final number 1. On pole, top qualifier this weekend, Johan Kristoffersen. Next to him, Timmy Hansen. Both those guys with a pair of new tyres on the front each. Row 2, Sebastian Loeb and Topi Heikkinen. They're all on used tyres. And row 3, Kevin Eriksson and Timo Scheider. Scheider's gone for new tyres on the rear. Interesting tactics. Tim Harvey, very, very much looking forward to this one. Won't be long before takeoff. On board with Heikkinen. This has been exciting, hasn't it?
That's been fantastic so far. Quality is unmatched in these 2 semi-finals. We're going to have some great racing. The battle to be in the top 3 in each is going to be really hard.
Let's see if they can get through turn 1 unscathed. The ready-to-race light comes on. We're about to find out just how much grip there is on this track in Belgium. Oh, it looks like a pretty even start. Heikkinen hooked it up well. Look at that, though. Closing the door across the front. Timmy Hansen gets into the first corner first. Heikkinen around the outside, taps the barrier. Nearly a half spin, holds onto it. Oh, in the wall. Sebastian Loeb's in the wall. Hansen gets the whole shot from Kristoffersson, and it's Eriksson who's made his way up into P3 with Scheider right behind him.
Yeah, first time anyone's been in front of Kristoffersson, but what a fantastic start that was. That was an absolutely brilliant start by Hansen. He got across. As you say, grip levels on the start slightly different after the rain.
A similar thing happened to Kristoffersson in Hockenheim. They gambled just slightly too high on the RPM and he went backwards. Doesn't mean it's all over. Look in there. The Joker lap is really slippery. I mentioned we've just seen the RX Light semi-finals. 3/4 of the field ran wide in there, Tim. They've watered the track, plus the rain. It's like ice.
Yeah, that was Loeb trying to make up for the damage and pick up some time. Went in too hot, got out on the wet, loose stuff on the outside. Lost a lot more time. It's going to be difficult, if at all possible, for Loeb to get through the top 3 now.
So Loeb 7.4 seconds back. He's done the Joker. The Joker was around 3.5 seconds, but of course it's damp now, so we think that's going to be a bit longer. Is anyone going to dare to go Joker now, or do you just hold tight and see if you can make it through? So the lead two have decided not to. They're followed by the 2 MJP Racing Team Austria cars in the background. Hakkinen was sideways again in the hairpin. And I think at the minute, Tim, it's looking likely to be a fight between these two teammates. Scheider, of course, who had the P2 earlier on this year in Barcelona, and Eriksson, who's Rallycross born and bred.
Yeah, Eriksson very wild over the jump there, really landed awkwardly, but yes, there's going to be a battle between those two for the 3rd place.
Kristoffersson now is piling the pressure onto Hansen in front of him. He's been an absolute machine this weekend. Kristoffersson won Q2, Q3 and Q4. Look at the commitment down through that section. It is epic.
Yeah, getting bumpier and bumpier. Some damage on the front of Hansen's car. Is he slowing up? But Kristoffersson's right on him. They still haven't jokered yet.
Gap in the background between Eriksson and Scheider. So whoever's behind has made a mistake, and we didn't see who it was. One of them's gone straight into the Joker. So I think Eriksson's in the Joker. It's Scheider. So Scheider's made a mistake, and that's dropped him back. And look at that. Eriksson's ended up behind Loeb. So Loeb's done well there. Loeb could stand a chance of getting through ahead of these 2 guys.
He still could. You're absolutely right. Look at Kristoffersson putting the pressure on now. He knows he's faster.
There's a gap behind him now, Tim, with those guys who've just jokered on this lap. That kind of opens up a window if he decides to joker now and see then if he can overlap. But I don't think these 2 will need to protect from Loeb. But is he going to go? He does. Kristoffersson into the joker lap. Oh, and he's really late on the brakes. He's almost down the outside. He's on the limiter. 600 horsepower four-wheel drive. Flicks it back the other way. Almost in the tyre barrier. Somehow holds on there. Look, Hakkinen, that shows you just how slippery it is. Out on the main lap now, we've got Sebastian Loeb caught up between Scheider and Eriksson, but Scheider hasn't jokered and Eriksson has, so Eriksson now is going to pile the pressure on the Frenchman.
Remember, they only take the Joker once, and it is slippery, but they're spotters. The people that call it for them should be telling them exactly what the conditions are like.
I think Scheider's got a problem here, because Loeb's all over the back of him, and Eriksson's right up there too. We know he's been hit, there was a little gap. Loeb there's a little bit slow out the hairpin. Has Loeb got a problem too? Loeb's gone! Sebastian Loeb's gone as he exits the hairpin. The 9-time world rally champion has got a problem. Timmy Hansen into the Joker lap. They'll have told him that it didn't go well for Kristoffersson. He's absolutely smashed Kristoffersson's Joker lap time. Hansen's way out in front.
He's done it. Wow, what an exciting semi. But Hansen is going to make it, I think, now with that excellent lap.
Brilliant stuff from him. So where's Scheider in the background? This is what we need to see. Timo Scheider coming through, but he hasn't jokered, of course. So this is going to be a fight then between Eriksson and Hakkinen, who are literally nose to tail in the background. I feel a bit sorry for Sebastian Loeb because he's done so well to recover from turn 1.
Yeah, he's still limping around, but there's no point really. He can't make the final now.
So Scheider and Eriksson here. We're on board with Hakkinen behind Eriksson. He will know that there's only one spot available. The checker flag is out. Timmy Hansen goes through to the front row. Brilliant drive by him. A mistake from Kristoffersson sees him go through in P2, but it's all about this. The run to the line. Hakkinen gives Eriksson a nudge. He's going to try and out-drag him, but it is going to be Kevin Eriksson that is going to go through from the first semi-final. I can't believe 6 laps is over that quickly.
It could go on for 8, couldn't it? That was a real barnstorming. Remember, all of these drivers have made finals so far this year, and not one of them hasn't, so none of them wanted to miss out on another opportunity, but Loeb is the big casualty. We need to see that start again.
Yeah, the Peugeot there is wrecked, isn't it? He was obviously going very quickly. As I say, I was surprised to see that we thought he was going to get the overlap after the Joker. That really caught me out. I didn't think he was on the pace.
No, something broke then down at the hairpin, and the others were all over him.
And he was gone. Timmy Hansen then wins semi-final number 1 from Johan Kristoffersson and Kevin Eriksson. The 3 Swedes go through. Topi Hakkinen, Timo Scheider and Sebastian Loeb are done for the weekend here in Belgium. We can have a look back at the action from that one. This was down in turn 1. Tim, what can we see? So Loeb's kind of caught in the middle here, look.
He's in the middle.
There doesn't seem too many problems there. Maybe it was contact off the jump. Look on the right-hand side, he picked
Yes.
it was. So
Yeah.
contact, it came together with, it looks like Ericsson and a passenger, you know?
Yeah, but nobody's fault. That was just bunching coming over that difficult exit of turn 1 over the jump.
You do love an over the jump out of turn 1, don't you? Rallycross is such a special sport. I do like that. A typical narrow first corner followed by an immediate drop-off jump.
Yeah,
brilliant.
and 6 quality drivers.
Yeah, top guy, Sebastian Loeb.
This is the joker where it's so wet on the outside.
Listen to that engine, though. He's absolutely buried, isn't he? Trying desperately. And at this point, of course, the Hansons are on the radio going, he's dropped it.
Yeah.
He's dropped it.
And very unusual to see that from Kristoffersson.
That was a mistake there from Scheider, look. So that was Scheider. I wonder if that was when he lost the time, because oh, look at that. Hakkinen to the back of Ericsson. Oh, is that him pushing Scheider?
Yeah, that's why he went wide. He got pumped from behind.
Okay,
and that might be something that gets looked at.
It will. Having said that, neither of those guys have gone through, so I guess they may well end up with a reprimand, but it shouldn't affect our lineup for the final. This was the last lap. Watch for Hakkinen on the inside here. Little nudge in the back of Kevin Eriksson. But Kevin, I think, Kevin had backed him up in that corner. Great stuff. Your top 3, Timmy Hansen, Johan Kristoffersson, and Kevin Eriksson.
Timmy Hansen, an incredible semi-final win. Considering how quick Kristoffersson's been this weekend, you blew him away.
Yeah, but he was very quick behind me too. He put a lot of pressure, but I made a better joker lap and I got out with a good gap. Was nervous before the semi, but it's great to get the win. And now I'll be in the front row, so it's where we want to be.
What's the conditions like out there with a little bit of rain?
It was tricky. We had the car high and we removed the tires to be ready to put rain tires, but in the end we put the slicks back on. We are watching the skies now too, but the Peugeot is great to drive and looking forward to head into the finals and fighting for victory.
See you at the final.
Thank you.
Timmy Hansen, all smiles, and rightly so, because Johan Kristoffersson, who really, I think, looked pretty unstoppable, other than being beaten in Q1, he's looked absolutely fantastic, and Timmy Hansen there has handed it to him in the first of the semi-finals. Who's going to go through from semi-final number 2? Crowd enjoying that. There are 25,000 people here this weekend in Belgium. We're going to have a look at Hakkinen's onboard from that semi-final. Tim, have a look at this. This has been wonderful.
He's got no choice but go to the outside, but he gets half spun here, just clips the barrier on the left, ends up in last place with no vision to... Oh, and no gears either for a minute.
I'll tell you what, it's lucky he didn't have a gear, because if he did, he'd have piled straight into Loeb, because at that point, Loeb was broadside across the track.
Yeah, and he was unsighted.
Talk us through this, Tim, because this has just been one of my wonderful onboards of the weekend.
Yeah, they've been great. There are times when they're pulling gears so fast, they're barely in the gear at all. Through this fast left-hander with a big bump on the inside. Close to the big handful of oversteer there. This is where it's been watered before these semi-finals. It's catching drivers out. This is the regular lap.
Listen to the wheel spin. He seems to be a gear higher there through the gravel section than he was earlier today. Oh, it looked like a lot wheel ahead of him, didn't it? The puff of smoke sort of telltale, and it
changes down to go over the jump. See that?
Little dab on the brakes, isn't it? Just
left foot braking, as you can see. Look at his left foot on the brake and throttle all the time. Then a tug of the handbrake to get the back rotated. Then pull those gears as fast as possible.
Absolutely fantastic. Right, here is that first corner. Look at Loeb on the outside. Ericsson comes across. I think that's a reaction from Ericsson from earlier in the corner. I don't think he's put Loeb in the wall. At this point, Hakkinen can't see anything, and suddenly comes out, finds a gear, and finds a 9-time World Rally champion.
Yeah, it was just the Ericsson's car bounced off the crest of the jump there and just tagged Loeb, who was on the outside.
He's already wide, isn't he, here? Look for Loeb. Yeah. Loeb's kind of hooked the nose up, but Ericsson, he's into him there in the background. And they're often, and Chris, you can tell that Hansen's had no tag at all, and yet he's squirming down the hills. They're just trying to figure out the grip levels.
Yeah, it looks bad from that angle on Ericsson, but he was really a passenger as the car had already reacted.
Look at that. Another large bumper bill for Peugeot. They're quite good at removing bumpers, but that will not be what Sebastian Loeb wanted. So it's a bit of a shame that, but that is the way it goes. Well, great stuff from semi-final number 1. Semi-final number 2 features our Norwegian friends on the front row. Of course, Petter Solberg and Andreas Backerud. There they are. They get themselves ready to go. Ken Block's in it too, so Backerud's got a bit of backup from his teammate. Flags are flying.
Talking of friends, Solberg and Eriksson had words after the last quarter.
Ekstrom, yeah. They were
big words.
Not happy. Ekstrom was very apologetic, and Petter didn't look in the mood to accept an apology, didn't he? So we are really looking forward to this. Semi-final 2 coming up. Round 4 of the World Rallycross Championship sees semi-final 2 on the line and ready to go in Belgium.
And of course, Ken Block has not made a final yet in 17. So this is a really good opportunity for him. He's been in 3 semi-finals, not made the final.
Really good, consistent performance from the American. What can he do here? Let's have a look at the lineup for semi-final 2. On the front row, Petter Solberg and Andreas Backerud, Norwegian rivals. 1 new tyre for Solberg, 2 for Andreas Backerud. Row 2, Ken Block, a really good performance. I think his strongest qualifying performance in his Rallycross career so far. 4 used tyres, Eckstrom alongside him on that typical fight back. You can't count him out. And at the rear, Timo Timozianov and Niklas Gronholm, who makes it through to the semi-finals for the first time this season. Both those guys on all used tyres. So Backerud and Solberg, they're always fighting it out for the Norwegian headlines. They're going to be fighting out for turn 1. There's Timozianov. Look, quick thumbs up to the marshal before he reaches down to set off the anti-lag. Eckstrom and Solberg already had words one time this weekend. What can Block do? He's been driving brilliantly so far. Revs are up. Good start by Ken Block on row 2. Looks like Timozianov's hooked it up too. Eckstrom's been left behind, but he's going to try and come around the outside. Backward gets to turn 1 first. Solberg's in between them. Eckstrom trying to go all the way around the outside. He just misses the wall. Ken Block squeezes through in front of Petter Solberg. Brilliant stuff. At the minute, it's a Focus RS Rx 1-2.
Yeah, Hoonigan 1-2. Great start from both of the guys. Backerud had it nailed into turn 1, but Block had to really force the issue.
That's the second time he's had to hold on to. They're under extreme pressure from these guys, and he's driving brilliantly this weekend. Well done, Ken Block. And Backerud now is out front. Solberg, he's the first to blink straight to the joker lap, and with him goes Timo Timozianov. So Solberg's looking for air, but he's going to come out behind Gronholm, Tim.
Yeah, but look how steady they were through that section. Their spotters have told them exactly what the problem is there. They were neat, tidy and tight on the driest part of the line.
Backerud so far this year, he's had really, really rotten luck. He's had to fight his way into the semi-finals every time. This time he went through in P4. He'll be desperate for a good result. Eckstrom now is up behind Ken Block, and they're really going to have to play tactics because Solberg's back there with Gronholm. We've got Eckstrom now behind Ken Block. Ken Block's going quickly anyway. Yo, what do you do?
Yeah, he's not holding Eckstrom up at all. Ekstrom's doing everything he can. Oh, Block
jokers.
I didn't think he'd go this early, but he has.
And he's super tight, a little bit too tight. He hooks the nose up over the inside of the curve. He's going to try and come around the outside of Solberg. It's going to be a drag race, but I think Solberg's going to have it. So Solberg in front of Block. Block has a look up the inside. Surely not there, Ken. Doesn't manage to do it, but he's right behind Solberg now. So 3 drivers of Jokerland, Solberg, Block and Timozianov. It's going to come down to whether Eckstrom and Backerud can get back out in front of Solberg and Block.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. He's going to have to stay within sort of 3 seconds now, I think, is about the difference of the Joker lap.
Eckstrom has been released, of course, as well by Block going at that point. Backerud continues to lead from the front. The front 3 having got Joker. So Gronholm now is the man we need to watch. In P3 behind Eckstrom. Here he is. Solberg's coming up behind. Gronholm, to be fair, is going really well this weekend. His single lap place was great in practice this morning, and he only made it through the semi-finals. It's a big improvement for him. Nice. He's a likeable guy too.
Yeah, it is. It's great to see him in getting better every race, and now being a potential qualifier. But I don't think he's far enough ahead of Solberg to take that final qualifying place.
Backerud will be staying calm out front. 2 spotters from Hoonigan, I'm sure we'll have had a conversation before this as to exactly what they wanted to do from a tactics point of view. Eckstrom doesn't seem to be making headway into Backerud out front. He's not, so Backerud was 0.6 quicker on the last out, and they were bang on together, so absolutely together within the hundredths for Eckstrom and Backerud on the last one.
I'll tell you what, Solberg's going to come out of this in second, you know.
Solberg passes around, just misses Gronholm. Gronholm makes a mistake. Gronholm makes a mistake, it looked like he did.
Yeah, he did, and in fact, it didn't hold held Solberg up. He got through there really nicely.
He was lucky, wasn't he? Solberg was really lucky. So Solberg now looking to edge Eckstrom. Eckstrom, is he going to joker now? Does he try and hold on and get a bit of a gap? Eckstrom comes around the standard lap. I think you're right, you know. I think in fact Solberg is going to try and chase Bakkerud down for the win here. He wants to be on that front row desperately.
Could be neck and neck. Block's off.
Ken Block is off. Whereabouts is that? We can't see where it is from the commentary position, I'm afraid. So Ken Block is stopped on track. He was P5, so it won't affect who's going through. Oh, the tyre bale is in the middle of the track. Bakkerud hits the tyre bale. That's from the previous lap where Gronholm would run wide. So Eckstrom now still chasing Bakkerud. These two are yet to joker. The gap is only 3.1 from Eckstrom to Solberg, so about 3.7 back to Bakkerud. So last lap, they're going to go into the joker lap now. Here goes Andreas Bakkerud. There's Ken Block parked in the background. Bakkerud needs to be tidy and low on the brakes. Dave Mansfield will be telling him to keep it tidy, but Solberg's got this hooked up on the inside. It's a Norwegian race to the line. Petter Solberg has done it. He wins semi-final number 2 with a brilliant drive. Bakkerud goes through in P2, and Matias Eckstrom is still in with a shout of those 4 wins in a row. He backs the final spot in the final here in Belgium.
Don't count him out. Disappointment for Ken Block. Real disappointment after a fine display. But Solberg jokered early and had a clear track and hunted them down. That was the way he got there.
Yeah, really, really nicely done by Petter Solberg. Result of semi-final number 2, Solberg winning it with that great joker tactic and a good hunt. Andreas Bakkerud in P2, Matias Eckstrom in P3. He's still there. They can't shake the world champion and the championship leader off. Timosyanov just misses out. Gronholm and Block with impressive performances this weekend, but it is game over for now. On board with Timosyanov then off the lines. Have a look at this. So Eckstrom trying to go around. Got Block moves, hard to see what's going on. Bakkerud leading at the front. Eckstrom trying to go around the outside of Solberg. Look.
That was the move by Block. He passed 2 of them going across the jump. Got a really good drive out of the hairpin as they ran wide.
Incredible traction when you think he's on the inside there, you know, to get the power on like that, unless he just leaned on Solberg. But either way, hats off to Ken Block this weekend. That's a great driving performance from him. I thought this was Bakkerud's. I wonder if he could have responded earlier maybe to Solberg going in, but then we were so taken up with the traffic, things like Gronholm and Block, where are they? And of course people, they won't know their relative pace. They're so much faster this weekend, you might normally go, right, he's on this pace, where's he going to be? And actually they're faster than you think.
The other thing is it's 6 laps, not 4 laps in the heats, so you've got more time if you're faster to make up that distance.
To try and gap someone or to try and chase someone down, exactly. So harder tactics for these guys with 6 laps. At this point, I was thinking really that Bakkerud was looking pretty. And look at this, Solberg, how he managed to avoid Gronholm there, I do not know.
Instinctive reaction, and he went the right way.
He did indeed. He's on board with Gronholm, look. Just gets it wrong on the transition, through the tyres. Now suddenly, oh, there's Petter. Around the outside on the handbrake.
So it was just a mistake from Gronholm.
Yeah, no contact. And this was out of the last corner, look. I wonder, was Bakkerud a little bit too cautious in the joker? Either way, Solberg got the job done. Great stuff from semi-final number 2. I now can't pick a winner, and I would have picked Kristoffersson earlier on today, so you'll have to stay with us and see the final. Crowd going nuts for that, and rightly so. That was fantastic. Neil Cole is in the Teng Tool Spotters Tower with us, but he's not strictly with us. He is with Petter Solberg's team, so we can go and hear from them now.
So both PSRX polos in the final. That was a particularly good semi-final from Petter then.
Yeah, it was really tough. The start was not maybe the best, and he struggled a bit in the traffic, but really good handling in the joker lap made him the win.
And was it strategy to joker early to try and get the win?
Strategy was adjusted due to the situation in the race, I have to say.
And of course, a word about Johan and his race against Timmy.
Yeah, it was, I think, a bad start as well. He lost the first place. The strategy was to turn first on the first corner, but yeah, they fight together. He couldn't catch him, so second place. So we are happy to have both cars in the final.
So what is the strategy for the final then?
Go flat out.
Thank you.
Take a breath. Semi-final's done. 6 people through to the final. Looking forward to seeing that battle. There's the guys up on top of the Monster Energy rig. Eckstrom is still there. Unbelievably, the 4 in a row is still on. Solberg and Kristoffersson, I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant, Tim.
Yeah, the 6 cars going into the turn 1 and the 6 laps really changes the complexion of these races.
Neil Cole has made a run for it and has managed to catch up with one of our VIP guesses, with Robert Pires, who was one of France's World Cup winning football team in 1998.
So, Robert Pires, it's great to see you here in Belgium. Are you enjoying the Rallycross?
Yeah, very, very good. I'm very happy to be here because this is my first time to watch the Rallycross, and yeah, I'm enjoying because I can see the great driver in the world. So this is the second semi-final. So yeah, it's very. I think I'm like a driver. I'm very exciting for the race.
And what's your prediction? Who's going to win today?
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm French, so I love a lot Sebastian Loeb, but I think Salzburg is my favorite for today. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Great to meet you.
Very much. Thank you.
Good to see somebody from a different, a world championship sport here, well, a world champion here, and really enjoying a brilliant spectacle. You know,
and like he said, the best drivers in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see exactly what they're doing here. You see inside the car, you see the attitude of the car, you see them racing against each other. That's why Rallycross is so great.
Yeah, the physicality of it is very, very visible from the outside. Very glad to have a football legend along and on the pre-grid. What a place to be. Crowd are looking forward to the next race, which is the Rx2 Final. There they are, bouncing up and down. Great stuff. Spotted themselves on the big screen. It's always a good reason to have a little jump about. I wonder if they've had a few Belgian beers or not. Well, these are the Rx2 hopefuls for this year. The championship featuring Rx2 is the new name for RX Lights. For 2017, the series goes intercontinental for the first time, with championship rounds in Canada and South Africa, as well as a host of traditional European tracks. Last year's champion Cyril Raymond is back to try and defend his title.
It was a great year last year. It was very hard with my concurrent Winterson. I hear one more time in Rx2. It's a very big category. It's a perfect class if you want to start in World Rx. There is a 18 car this race, so yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
The championship will be hard fought this year with a strong entry of 18 drivers at round one. Rx2 has already produced world-class rallycross drivers, including the likes of Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson, who graduated from the Formula and are now full-time supercar drivers, something current British rallycross champion Dan Rook is hoping to emulate.
I've had experience across 2 categories now in Britain, and some pretty tough competition, but I mean it's a tough field. I've never had to go in a single make series before, so it'll be interesting to see how I get on there, but I mean some guys with track experience of these tracks that I've not quite got yet, so hopefully that doesn't hinder me too much.
Well, as I was saying before I interrupted myself, Rx2, the new name for RX Lights basically this year, and these guys have really been fighting hard to make it through to the final. Here they are lined up on the grid, and I think we can see the full lineup for the first round of this championship this year. We can indeed. Simon Olofsson with Cyril Raymond next to him. Cyril Raymond, of course, the defending champion. Olofsson, one of the front runners last year, was P3 in the championship. Dan Rook, the current British supercar champion, now racing, of course, in the Rx2 category. Glenn Haug on row 2. Tanner Witten at the back with Sondra Evge, and Tanner Witten, driver from the USA, looking to be the first American driver to lift the support category here alongside World RX. Look at the difference in the weather. It was literally pouring with rain 5 minutes before you guys joined us. I thought we were going to see another Hockenheim.
Yeah, interesting. Cyril Raymond runs number 13. I don't know many racing drivers that would do that. Superstitious spot.
He's going to be in trouble when he gets to World RX. He'll have to fight Andreas Baccarin for it, won't he? Here we go then. The revs are up on these guys. We'll tell you about the cars once they're off the line. Olofsson with a pretty good start. Cyril Raymond's hooked it up as well. Dan Rook moves to the inside to try and protect his line, but Olofsson should get into turn 1 first. He runs a bit deep. This is a chance for Dan Rook to go up the inside. Rook in the all-black car is heading into P2. Cyril Raymond's been knocked down. There's contact in the background there, and it is Olofsson who leads from Dan Rook.
Well, Olofsson's been very quick all weekend. He had a bit of a nightmare. Always a cramming together there at the back, but he's made a good start to this, and Dan Rook, a good move from 3rd to 2nd.
That hasn't gone well for Haug there, you can see, with heavy damage to the front of the car. Olofsson, I have to say, looked absolutely brilliant in his semi-final. We saw, I think, 4 people in Olofsson's semi-final, Tim, ran wide on the Joker, and again, it was after they'd watered the track. You can actually see how quickly it dries when the sun comes out, but Nilsson this time going into the Joker. Olofsson he was pinpoint accurate the whole way through, and that's what you got to do in these cars. They got about half the power of a supercar, but similar transmission.
Yeah, just over 300 horsepower, still 4-wheel drive, but a lot different car to drive. You've got to keep your speed up.
Haug really in the wars there, sideways again. Up to the hairpin. The trick with these, I think, is to be tidy. When we've seen Raymond and Rook, for instance, coming through the hairpin down at the bottom there, they don't use any handbrake. Just wind a bit of lock on and then, you know, blend the throttle in, blend the steering off on the way out.
Yeah, if you stop the car, you can't get it going again, and they like to keep the car rolling as much as possible. Look, much tighter through there. There's the standard lap, but they're kicking up the dust now, so the grip's come back into it.
Olofsson was actually hooking a wheel on the inside of that last corner in his semi-final as well, where they'd watered the track, and he spotted there was just a couple of feet of dry tarmac. My goodness me, past the competition there, Rook was as close to the outside wall as you can get. Olofsson through the left chicane, and there looks Olofsson sideways, and Dan Rook nice and tidy behind Cyril Raymond too, but Olofsson still managed to carry the speed, driving these cars quite hard.
Yeah, he comes out quite tight there, which shortens the distance that the car goes, and that definitely helps. But Rook's hanging on to him well here. He won one of the heats. Olofsson won 2 and Raymond won 1, but they are all very equally matched.
Olofsson was the top qualifier, so he is the pace man this weekend. What did Olofsson do last year? He was 2nd in Belgium, he was 3rd in the UK and Norway, and he won in Sweden, 3rd overall in the championship. So Olofsson looking to stake his claim to the title that this man currently holds. Cyril Raymond, there again, really chucks the car in, and most of these guys are keeping it really tight. Tanner Whitten, who I speak to, is in this final P5 at the minute, was saying that in America they run them on the different brand of tyre, which gives a little bit too much grip, and you can't move the car around. Of course, they're now on the Cooper tyres, which is the same as in World RX, gives them the same feel as when they move up, hopefully, to a supercar, and allows them to move the car around a bit.
As Raymond goes for the Joker, look, he's still wide, He was caught out by the track looking dry, but offline it's still wet. He lost some time there. Oh, look up the inside!
Contact!
And he spun Olofsson into the tyres!
So you could just see that at the top of your picture. In the background, you would have just been able to see Olofsson got tagged by Rook, and I wonder if Rook's going to get a telling off for that or not. He was a long way up the inside as they came down the straight. Dan Rook now leads, but I wonder if that'll get taken away. We've got a station car. Nilsson has stopped on the back straight under the hairpin. Simon Olofsson climbs out of the car, and he's not happy. So Olofsson in front of the commentary position had climbed out of the car. Dan Rook is leading, but there was contact between him and Olofsson. There is Olofsson, walks away. Tim, any thoughts on that? It's hard to commit because we were on a very long shot. I know we were kind of looking out the window as well. So
I'm not going to portion blame other than say there was definitely contact.
There we go, racing driver. Thanks very much. Cyril Raymond now in front of Rook. So Raymond having jokes. I think he's going to come out of this smelling of roses. The yellow flag is out, so no more overtaking at one of the top overtaking spots on the track because of Olofsson's car being parked in the barrier. Cyril Raymond, the champion, leading with Dan Rook, and I don't know, we'll see. There we are, look, Nilsson's car, as I say, stationary at the bottom. Hard to tell. We may be able to see from the replays if we had it from one of the different cameras.
Only saw it out the corner of our eye, but it did look like Rook was quite a long way down the inside, didn't it?
It did. We're busy looking, of course, at Cyril Raymond making a mistake in the Joker, which should have given those 2 guys up front the golden opportunity to get away. Last lap, checker flags out. Cyril Raymond takes the win from Dan Rook. Good drive by both those guys, but will the stewards get involved? Raymond pitches the car into a spin just in front of the commentary box. Round of applause from the crowd. Over the line in 3rd was Tanner Whitten, according to the timing screens. We've got another car crawling to the line. Glenn Haug is crawling down towards the line.
I was just looking out the window to see if there was any reaction from Olofsson as Dan Rook came past, but there was no reaction at all. So
very, very professional, at least. Either that or he's of the opinion that it was a racing incident. If the supercar drivers would have been quite so kind to each other. Cyril Raymond takes the win from Dan Rook and Tanner Whitten. That's the first podium of the year for RX2, but with that contact, we'll wait and see whether or not those results get confirmed later on. Glenn Haug, Simon Olofsson and William Nilsson. At the minute, the timing screen is not showing that anybody is under investigation, so we will see.
of the start again. Olofsson in the white car gets the start. Raymond round the outside, and look at Rook sneaking up the inside, as we've seen come off already in the supercars, gets up into second place.
Tidily done at this point. Now, Olofsson, I thought, was going to drive away. What I'm interested in is the fact that he's making this kind of more aggressive style work, which is good to see, because I do enjoy a bit of sideways, it has to be said. And these guys sometimes are super tidy. OK, watch up at the top of your screen. So this is, we're going to see it there. Do you know what, Tim? Rook was further up the inside than I thought he was.
He was having a proper go at it, and Olofsson would have known he was there from the exit of that last corner. So he was closing him down.
If he was 50% up the inside, then I'm not sure the stewards are saying anything. That may be a brilliant drive by Dan Rook. Well, I'll say we'll have to wait and see whether Olofsson protests it or not. But out at the minute, it's Raymond with the win, Dan Rook with P2, and Tanner Witten with P3. You see it's very windy here, but it is a nice warm day as well. We've had a bit of dust. We're having a little bit of a clear up going on front. I think Cyril Raymond's actually broken his car from the commentary box. It looks like they're towing his car back. So I don't know if they'll be thanking him for the victory donuts, Tim, if he's then broken the car.
Yeah, I'm not sure these little cars like donuts, do they really? But they've had to remove the front bumper so they can put the tow rope on it.
There is Petter Solberg preparing himself for the final. I should think he'll be feeling pretty confident after that performance, but of course we are now back to full dry conditions. But it puts him at the front row, at least for the semi. Crash helmet goes on.
Be interesting to see who's saved tyres for the final. We haven't seen a massive improvement from new tyres. It's not one of those tracks where tyres make a massive difference, but they will have all saved some.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's not so long ago that you would see people save a whole set of tyres. Now we see them use one here and two there. Neil Cole's down the pre-grid. He's chasing our final drivers.
Well, Petter, it's not been the easiest weekend for you, but you've managed to get yourself on the front row for the final, so it all looks good.
Yeah, that was. We had a very good weekend, to be honest with you, and you know, you have to fight. It's very, very hard. And first corner in the semi, you know, I was like. I was the sandwich, that's for sure. The ham and cheese in the middle, and it was unbelievable. Pushed in the back and side and everything, but then it's just to do the best you can and push when you were alone, and it worked very well.
Okay, good luck in the final.
Thanks.
There's Bakkerud, all belted in. Nervously jiggling his nails, just waiting to go, isn't he? His knees, yeah.
Yeah, it's important to have a sort of, people always say, are you nervous on the start line? You're not nervous, you're apprehensive. The adrenaline's running through your body. You want things to go well. You don't want to make a mistake. But let's go back down to Neil Cole. He's down on the grid. I think he's got three-time winner Matias Eckstrom with him. Let's see if he can make it 4. What does he think?
Matias, what can you do from this position in the final to get your 4th consecutive win?
Yeah, it will be difficult to win, but we will fight as good as we can, like always.
Keep it clean as ever.
Yeah, do my best. We'll see if we can manage.
Thank you, good luck.
Eckstrom not the most talkative he's ever been, but that's fair enough. He's
Short
kind of
and sweet.
He's in his zone,
Short and
Tim.
sweet. He answered the question because he was asked it, but he wanted to keep it short and sweet. But of course, nobody else on this grid has won a race this year. They're all desperate to do it.
Some of your tweets coming in at the bottom of the screen. Hashtag is WorldRX. Neil Cole's on the grid. Who's he found this time?
Andreas, you're sitting on the pre-grid ready for the final here in Belgium. You got a big smile on your face. You're going to look forward to this, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, like here it's, but it's all about the start now, you know. It's going to be tough anyway how we do it. So the semi-final 2 was fun. I had a good start and I tried my best, but we just didn't have enough pace against Petter. He did a great win. At the end there was tires on the track everywhere, and it was a bit like crazy going around.
Good luck, thank you.
Full emotion change there for Andreas Bakkerud, of course, was so down in the dumps in Hockenheim with 3 events in a row which haven't really gone his way. Finally, this weekend, he's looking like he's back to the form we saw last year. The Monster Energy girls are holding up the boards for the final. You can see the cars are lighting up those tyres and getting into their grid slots. Let's have a look at the lineup for the final and who's going to win that Monster Energy Supercharge Award. Reaction times, of course. Here we go. On pole, Petter Solberg. Next to him, Timmy Hansen. Row 2, Johan Kristoffersen, who I think all the money was on until it drizzled just before his semi-final. Andreas Backerud with a big recovery this weekend. Bringing up the rear, Matias Eckstrom and Kevin Eriksson. Can Eckstrom get 4 from there? And if he does, that's going to destroy the morale of everybody else, surely. You can hear the pre-grid starts in the background. Just a quick check of RPM.
They'll all be wondering how to set their sort of start revs and clutch, having had different track conditions throughout the day, really. But the start is so important.
Temperatures just a little bit higher now, aren't they? The sun is out. It fluctuates very fast, as does the track temperature. Because we've got the breeze, if the clouds come, it goes cold very quick. Sun comes out and the temperatures come back up. It's going to be an absolutely fascinating battle. I can't wait for this one.
I didn't see who was on what tyres, but let's just assume it's all equal and enjoy the racing.
Yeah, looking forward to it, looking forward to it. And let's hope for not too much carnage in turn 1 as well. So, Solberg versus Hansen. Bit of history there. We've got some history between Eckstrom. Eckstrom's holding everyone up at the back of the grid. I wonder if he's...
bit of gamesmanship, maybe?
Yeah, which they're perfectly okay to do. Has he got a problem in the car, or is he...
in fact, Eriksson isn't lined up either, so...
Okay, the Monster Energy Girls do. There he goes. Eckstrom does do his start. So I was just slightly concerned there as to whether he had an issue or not. It seems not. There's some flags from our fans who've travelled across some of our other European venues. We've seen Latvians, Portuguese, all sorts of people coming from the various different venues. Some people have visited 3 out of the 4 events already. They're coming to as many as we are. Kevin Eriksson pulls up to his slot at the back. Kevin Eriksson, this is his first final of the year. What can he do from back there? Can he do another round the outside? We're about to find out who the winner is of the 4th round of the FA World Rallycross Championship. Is it going to be Eckstrom or one of the others? Oh, it's a great start in the front row from Solberg. Solberg has got the whole shot firmly. Hansen moves across to shut the door behind him. Kristoffersen slots in. Kristoffersen's been very careful there to make sure he's on the inside line. Backerud's going to try and come around the outside of him. Backerud's desperate to get into the second corner. In P2, but he doesn't. He ends up in P3, so it's Solberg from Hansen, Kristoffersen and Backerud.
Yeah, no progress crucially from Eckstrom, so I wonder if Eckstrom will take the joker on this first lap, give himself some clean lap. He's got no one behind him, no reason not to.
He could do, couldn't he? That's going to give him a huge bit of air in front. Of course, now we're into the final. We know that the pace between these cars is very similar indeed. Everybody on the standard lap except for Eriksson, and does that change Eckstrom's approach?
Yeah, I think he would have gone. He looked like he was going to go. The attitude of the car looked like it was until Eriksson went in front of him.
Solberg over the crest jump for the first time. Hansen right with him. The Hansens will be working like mad on the stopwatches now for the strategy. Kristoffersen in the background. Both Kristoffersen and Solberg would love to take the first win for the VW Polo GTI Supercar. Kristoffersen, of course, was 6th in the first round, then he's had a 3rd and a 2nd, so he's been on 2 steps to the podium already, but at the minute it's looking like it might be his teammate Solberg who can take the top step. Backerud wins the Supercharger Award. That's for the fastest reaction times, and straight into the joke lap goes Johan Kristoffersen. Matthias Eckstrom sticks to the standard lap. Super sideways, and it's Solberg and Hansen. Hansen up the inside. Solberg pushes into him. Timmy's going to try and make the pass. Solberg's out on the tyre barrier. Solberg's on time. Backerud into the side of Solberg, and there's nothing he could have done to avoid that this time. That was so backwards in the wall. I can't believe his luck. That was through no fault of his own. But Hansen, how did he manage to get alongside Solberg?
Hansen was much tighter at the final corner, and he was alongside Solberg all the way down that finish line, and Solberg forced the issue, I thought probably incorrectly.
So did I.
And then ended up half spinning, and when he rejoined, he took out Backerud.
Solberg into the joke lap. Eckstrom on the inside with Kristoffersen. Eckstrom now is maybe going to hold up Kristoffersen, but he doesn't, so those two go through. So Kristoffersen has jokered, and he's currently putting himself in the best possible position to try and take the win. If Hansen isn't quick enough out front, Eckstrom between them. Okay, wow, so Timmy Hansen hasn't jokered, and neither has Matias Eckstrom. Kristoffersen is right up behind Eckstrom. To me, looks like he's got the measuring on pace. Backerud has parked the car, and that is a real shame.
It's a desperate shame. Backerud having his best meeting of the year so far.
There is Timmy Hansen. When does he go to the joker? Does he go now? He's 39.9. Eckstrom's quicker than him behind with a 39.3 on the last lap, but he stays on the standard lap. And Kristoffersen is right up behind Eckstrom. Is he being held up or not? Look at the gap, Tim. You know, know, from first to third, there's not much in it, and it's going to be so tight when they do eventually go to the Joker.
Well, the Joker, now that it's dry, if it's done cleanly and done smart, is about 2.5 to 3 seconds. So that's the gap we're looking at.
Eckstrom, I don't think, can get the fourth win from here, even with the miracles they've had. Backerud, is he going to wave at anyone? I think he's just there, isn't he, to glare at Solberg. There we go. Backerud waves at Solberg. He's not happy, and that's a return, basically, for the various bits of contact they've had last weekend in Hockenheim. There were question marks over whose fault it was. Hansen goes into the standard lap again, so does Eckstrom, and this is holding Kristoffersson up. Kristoffersson here. It's clever from Eckstrom because, you know, he knows these guys are probably going to be his biggest title rivals, but you shouldn't count out the Peugeots. They've been so fast the last couple of events.
They really have. All these top cars, the Peugeot, the VW and the Audi, all very equal. Oh, he's got a puncture! Hansen's got a left front puncture. He's got no tyre on the front.
So Timmy Hansen then might be in trouble. He's on the last lap. He's got to get it round to the Joker. We need to see Timmy Hansen's car right up at the front. The battle's going on there, but Tim Harvey thinks there's a puncture on the front left, and it is off the rim. So Timmy Hansen is going to have to fight like mad if he's going to take this one. He's going to go into the Joker lap. This time round, this is going to be so close on the inside. Eckstrom goes in with him. It's going to be a race for Kristoffersson. Can Timmy find the traction with only 3 tyres on the car? Kristoffersson's going to do it. Eckstrom's reign is over. Kristoffersson takes the 4th round of the series. Solberg, where's Solberg? Does he get Hansen? He just does! Solberg's got Hansen too. 11 thousandths in that. Unbelievable that Hansen missed out on the last lap.
Yeah, I just spotted that puncture. Don't forget, 6-lap races, much harder on the car. The track's at the end of the day, it cuts up more. What disappointment for Peugeot Hansen and Tim Hansen. Really gutted for him. He drove fantastically.
He didn't deserve that, and Tim Harvey, what a spot on that puncture. How you saw that, I have no idea with everything that was going on. There is the result. It's the first win for the Volkswagen Polo GTI goes to Johan Kristoffersson. Timmy Hansen is showing us P2 now. It was the other way round. Solberg showed on the timing screen, but Solberg is P3. So there we go. It was 11 thousandths the other way in Hansen's favour then. So he just held on for second. Solberg third, as I say. Eckstrom 4th. He doesn't get the Quattro. Kevin Eriksson is in 5th. Andreas Backer with a DNF in 6th. That is eventful.
That is Rallycross. Let's hear from Neil Cole down at the final.
So finally, the deadlock has been broken. Matias Eckstrom didn't win. PSRX did with Johan Kristoffersson. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Finally, we got a win. We were looking for this in so long time. Always in a good performance, but we couldn't achieve in the final. Now, finally, it's done.
And up here in the spotters tower, it was nice because the whole of the EKS team congratulated you, the Peugeot Hansen team congratulated you. But the puncture for Timmy Hansen, you couldn't have predicted that.
No, for sure not. I mean, on this track, we knew that it's really tricky. On the puncture risk is really high. But yeah, it's like this. We got some in the previous sessions. Now they got one. That's part of the sport.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Well, he's right, of course, because Solberg got that puncture in Portugal, which cost both him and Kristoffersson. Look back at some of the highlights from the final, and Tim, the semis and the final, I've got to say, they've been brilliant. We haven't been short of things to talk about.
No, because the strength in quality and depth, we're looking sometimes in the heats at the sort of 4th heat being, could be a final. Yeah. And both semis and the final were stacked with talent and class.
Absolutely fantastic. All 4 of our manufacturer squads still on the pace. We're still seeing Eriksson and Scheider and Timazyanov and Bauman.
This is when the Hansen got up the inside. Look.
Brilliant, great. I mean, but then see this from
Solberg leans on him, and then he still tries to turn into the corner, has a half spin, rejoins straight across the front of Backerud, who's innocently taken out. Now I know Solberg had to rejoin, but the damage was done with him forcing the issue with Hansen into the corner.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So we'll have to see what Solberg and Backerud have to say to each other. We've already seen words this weekend between Solberg and Eckstrom, but if you follow this championship closely, you'll know that we don't mind a little bit of a rift building up among the top drivers. It makes for some very, very exciting racing. Great stuff. All of the crowd are heading down to the podium because they're opening the track up here at Mettet, so they can see the podium up on the top of the press centre. We're looking forward to seeing some champagne for somebody new. Gutted for Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, and although the last corners are left-handers and he had the puncture on the left front, so theoretically he's working the right front, he hadn't got the traction. He couldn't pull off the corner, even with four-wheel drive. Well, it was three-wheel drive. He just couldn't get the traction.
There we are, look. Big applause for Kristoffersson. 3-2-1 in the last 3 events. Yeah, that's the way to improve your results, isn't it? That's Absolutely brilliant. He heads into the scrutineering bay, if you're wondering where that is. So they're sending the cars in there, and they'll give them a wait. Just check all the regulations are in place. There's nothing unusual in that. You just don't get to see it normally on the television. Solberg will know that he's going to have to go and have a chat with Backer. I think he does need to, Tim.
He's all thumbs up.
Yeah.
He's all smiley and thumbs up. But is that covering up the fact he feels a little bit guilty? I don't know.
I'll be interested to see both those guys who've been in the press conference with us, which you'll be able to find on YouTube later on tonight, and I will make sure to ask Timmy and Petrus.
So what?
Here it is. Yeah.
Hansen's up the inside.
He's just too early.
Clearly up the inside. Now Solberg knows there's actually a little bit in front there. A little bit more power on the VW. Gets it slightly in front, and then Solberg pushes inside twice.
I think Hansen was brilliant there because he was brave up the inside, but he wasn't unfair. He was you know he was side by side. Solberg was too early on the gas, wasn't he? Lit it up, and then Hansen got the jump, but. Oh, look at these guys as well. I mean, I guess they were probably as excited as we were, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. They were glad their man was on the inside, though, that's for sure.
There's that little hop at the bottom of the straight. Well, I can't believe so much has happened. I think we may have heard Solberg swearing there. We'll have to apologise. He's just excited, bless him. So they've been waiting for that win for a long time. Solberg won't be happy that it's not him who got it, because he was on for this, and if he hadn't made the mistake with he made a mistake. I think he was too early on the gas. I think Hansen got the inside, and that cost him. It also cost Bakkerud, and it's good to see the Ford back on the pace. But I say, just there's so much to do with Tim. Pick your subject, go for it, mate.
Well, yeah. I guess the only thing you can really say, it is a new winner, and it is Kristoffersson who has been the class of the supercar field this weekend.
Yes, I actually think he's probably been the class of it for most of the year. It just hasn't gone his way. You know, the stall in Barcelona, Petr being in his way with the puncture, the missed joker in Portugal as well, so he had his problems there. There they are heading up to the podium. All the press are up there. Great to see them all heading upstairs. There's one of our Rx2 drivers sneaking out onto for a bit of extra attention. Great stuff from the Belgian organisers. Looking forward to seeing the podium.
You see my eyes. I won't sleep tonight. So no, it was very good.
There are the photographers and some of the invited guests up on the balcony looking down on the parked cars from a fraught final for round 4 of the World Rallycross Championship, which was won in style by Johan Kristoffersson. Tim, Harvey, you know, in his semi-final, he lost out, but then he's made good in the final, basically, with the carnage that happened behind him. Eckstrom still leads on 101, but look at that. The gap is down to just 3 points from Kristoffersson, with Solberg a further 11 back from his teammate. Timmy Hansen goes up to 4th, knocks his teammate Loeb down to 5th. Bakkerud is up to 6th, pushing Scheider down to 7th, and Heikkinen is up to 8th. So this championship fight is going to be fantastic. Could not be closer at the top of the table.
Petter, what a final, incredible, and you get 3rd place, you're on the podium.
Yeah, it was fantastic, you know, it was really good fun, and unfortunately I missed it. I had a good start and things went well, but I problem with the gearing. I didn't have a chance to hold it, and but anyway, for the team, you all won it. You know, I couldn't be better than that. You know, I'm so happy for everybody that worked so hard. So great feeling, both on the podium.
Well done, Petter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Solberg then saying got a problem with the car, Tim. That might explain things, but PSRX Volkswagen Sweden, 185 points at the top of the table. EKS in 2nd, Team Peugeot Hansen in 3rd. So not much movement in the standings there, but still close enough at the top. And of course, we're only a third of the way through the season, so lots of action still to come. Neil Cole is looking for Timmy Hansen, our P2 man. He'll be grabbing up among all the press, and I think we can hear from Timmy now.
Timmy, so close to a win. Incredible. If it weren't for that puncture, you had it nailed.
Yeah, I heard on the radio after we crossed the finish, we had it. But, you know, those laps that I made, the pass on Petter felt amazing. And those laps that I made after I passed Petter until I got the puncture, possibly the best I've ever done in my whole life. It was something out of this world. Like, it shouldn't be possible, but I made that lap after lap, and then we punctured, but we are on the podium. The win is just around the corner. Also, I'm happy for Johan. He's a great driver, and they have a fast car, but the Peugeot is definitely good challenge.
The win is coming. Well done, Timmy.
Thank you.
I'm sure the win is coming. That puncture was really unlucky for Timmy Hansen, but great to see that he's such a good sport that he can still have a big smile on his face when he's missed out on being the first person to win, other than, of course, the reigning world champion Matias Eckstrom, who gets P4 today. Neil Cole has gone and got our race winner, Johan Kristoffersen.
Speaking to you on Friday, Johan, you said, I've had a third, I've had a second. This weekend I need a first. You got the first. It wasn't easy.
No, definitely not. We had a great weekend. Both me and Petter had great speed. But like I've been saying the whole weekend, we learned the lesson in Hockenheim, and I think the team really deserves the win, because they could put the finger on what really we should change for this weekend. And we did it, and I'm just so happy to be able to take the win, because I had slightly too much wheel spin in the semi-final start, and Timmy grabbed me, and I felt that I had so great pace, but I couldn't take advantage of it, and I was so careful after the puncture in Q4. So I was taking care in semi-final, and in the final I was also trying to take care a little bit. And then Eckstrom was ahead, and I wanted to just, come on guys, can I give you a few tons? Because Timmy was pulling away and pushing really hard, and then unfortunately Timmy had a punch in the end, but the Joker called for me in the final. If we did it wrong in Portugal, we did it correct now, so I'm so super happy. Big thanks to the team.
Yeah, but it was great to watch you battling with Timmy.
Yeah, it was really nice, but in the end I didn't have so much battle with Timmy in the final, but the semi-final was a really nice battle, and in the final it was with Matias, and I was just waiting for him to go to the Joker, but the best for him was to stay out, and he did the one was best for him, but finally I came out on top, and I'm so really happy, and great effort for the team to be P1, P2. We have done all the finals so far, and now both on the podium, and it's just fantastic.
Enjoy your first win of the year.
Thank you very much.
He's really, really pleased, Johan Kristoffersen. The gap when we came here was 16 points, Tim Harvey, and it's down to 3. That is an absolutely massive slice of Eckstrom's comfort zone.
Yeah, it is. The consistency of Kristoffersen with that win, 3-2-1 the last 2 events, and he had a 6th at the start. So, it's really good. Look how happy he is.
Very, very pleased indeed. Great, look at this. Look how close the photographers can get next door from the pressure. First time we've had the podium here. Brand new building here at Mettet. They've tried really hard to... there we go, look, big hug from Solberg across. That's good to see, because let's be honest, Solberg would really have liked to have taken that himself, Tim.
And he had a great chance, didn't he, starting off the front.
Yeah.
But I think he's pleased for his team, he's pleased for the championship, he's pleased for his pace.
Trophy in the air. He's a cool guy, Kristoffersen. I've got a lot of time for him.
Yeah, he's cool behind the wheel. He's cool out of the car.
He's funny as well.
He doesn't get too political.
No. He's got that ability to kind of make the killer moves like Eckstrom has, but kind of with a smile on his face, just all chilled out about it. Some of our other drivers are a little bit more emotional, let's say, and Johan kind of. His emotions, he's kind of got a smile on his face, win or lose.
The smiling assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's what you need to be.
All the team are down there underneath the podium. Great to see, lovely to see. I'm going to look out the window and we can see there's a good few hundred people have made their way up to the podium. There we are, champagne. Kristoffersen gets the shower from his teammate and from Timmy Hansen too. Let's not forget, Timmy Hansen or Solberg could have and maybe should have won this. But it's Kristoffersen who manages to take the first win of the year. Other than, of course, our world champion, Matias Eckstrom. Absolutely fantastic weekend of racing. Tim Harvey, a pleasure to have you back with us here on the World Rallycross Championship, and looking forward, of course, to you coming to Linden Hill for our home race. Of course, Guy Wilkes is going to be racing there. We're going to be seeing Andrew Jordan as well, but this has been... look at this.
Mettet has delivered fabulous racing all weekend with, class drives, some bad luck, bit of everything that motorsport delivers. I can't wait for Linden Hill in 2 weeks' time.
I can't wait either. There was Eckstrom. Look, this was the needle between them. Eckstrom apologising. Solberg was not happy. He felt Eckstrom had held him up. Solberg will be telling him how he moved out of the way in Portugal. We love a good story in the World Rallycross Championship, and that one's going to unfold during the course of the year as these guys fight it out. The Peugeot is looking like it's on the post. Same pace as the top cars, the VWs. The Ford has bounced back this weekend as well. We've got 8 events still to go. I can't believe a third of the championship has flown by already, but finally the reign of Eckstrom is over. And we have a new king. King Kristoffersson is on the top step of the podium. I wonder how long he can stay there for. Eckstrom and EKS will be keen to fight back just as soon as they possibly can. We've seen carnage in turn 1. We've seen some brilliant action up over the jump. We hope you have enjoyed it at home as much as we have here in Belgium. And you haven't got very long to wait, because in just 2 weeks' time we'll be at Linden Hill, where, of course, this year the sport of Rallycross is 50 years old, and it was born at that wonderful circuit in the UK. Who's going to be on the top step of the podium there? This was the final. Solberg led it. Hansen got up the inside of him. It looked like he might be able to take it. He got a puncture, and Kristoffersson, who's been the ball man all weekend, managed to make it to the line when it counted for the checker flag. We'll see you in 2 weeks for more of this fantastic sport.